Hello from London, England, folks. My name is Sir Scoots. I am here in the Gfinity Arena for Spring Masters #2. And once again, joined by the best guys in the business, Duncan Shields, also known as Thorin, and Richard Lewis, also known as Richard Lewis. We do have to come up with a name for you.
No,
it's Richard
I got
Lewis.
rid of it.
It's like Joe Miller is the only one that can be the same, right?
I've got an alias he could have. I think we should start calling him Redditless.
Redditless.
Redditless, yeah.
Redditless Lewis.
Good, yeah,
I like it. Anyway,
Could be calling you jobless soon, Duncan.
Oh, jeez.
How about Reddited?
Reddited.
Redacted.
Redacted Lewis.
There you go, Reddited.
All right, okay, I can play Call of Duty now.
So again, we're here, Gfinity 2, again, second Masters.
Yes.
Did one roughly 2 months ago. Fnatic won that one. We are back, I'm sorry, not Fnatic, Envious won that one.
Yep.
And
Good job.
this time they've added 2 more teams, so a little bigger. Still 2 groups. Why don't you walk us through the format a little bit, Duncan? Kind of tell us the differences between this one and last time.
Yeah, well, the difference is last time we were using a GS All-Star system with the 4 teams in the groups, and it was just best of 3s and double elim. This time, we've got a home and away system. So it's a group stage, round robin, but you play each team twice. You play 1 home, which is like your pick, 1 away, their pick, and then you get 1 point for winning a map. But the key thing is if you win both maps, you get a bonus point. So if you win 2-0, you get 3 points. But if you just split it 1-1, then you only get 1 point each. So there's a lot more incentive to win, obviously, both. But it allows some of the underdog teams to maybe steal a map, and then they can take points away from the other teams. So it's an interesting format. Actually, it's a new look. We haven't seen this in CSGO before.
Gotcha. And then...
and 4 teams go to the playoffs, and then we have the proper semifinals and a final.
Yeah, and when it comes to maps, and obviously... we've kind of got rid of Nuke for a while, so Gfinity picked that up as well. They've added Train, so that's our 7th map. We've seen that in the last couple tournaments as well, so kind of just following the same trend of using
I haven't
Train.
seen a lot of it, though. I'd like to see a lot more. I'm hoping that for this tournament, teams have had a bit of time to practice, maybe get some strats on it. Because I want to see how it plays out dynamically rather than it just being... kind of like the red-headed stepchild, so to speak, where, people ignore it. No offense, mate. But people ignore it and, they just don't want to do anything with it. And it's just there and it's like, well, do we ban it or do we pick it?
Yeah.
And again, stepchildren have you, Rich. You just abused here. Okay, I see how it is.
And on the line, again, $50,000 total.
In Wales,
25 grand for first place, so that's the same as last time. And again, one of the cool things about Gfinity is that these are all expense-paid trips for all the teams, and again, they do other games here. They do Hearthstone, they do StarCraft, they do Call of Duty. All those tournaments are all the same way. If you get invited or you qualify for it, free ride for the organization. So that's great. If you're a team owner, you don't have to worry about those expenses, so it makes it much easier to fit this into your schedule.
Plus, some of those players for those games get to feel like they're part of esports. They're playing a real sport as well. It's kind of like a charity thing.
Exactly.
Shout outs to the FIFA players.
So let's talk about our first 2 groups. Let's talk about Group A first off, and then we're going to jump into Group B. Thorin, why don't you give me a quick walkthrough of Group A?
Okay, first and foremost, I have a theory as to how this group was actually set up. What happened was they went back to basics like kindergarten. They thought, right, we'll use color coding. So all the teams with like red and white are going to be on the right-hand side group, and then the teams with the yellow and the blue, put all them together on the left-hand side. So no, seriously though, we've got the number 1, number 2 team in the world. Fnatic is in Group A, Envious Group B. Then we've got my number 4 and number 5 teams, which is Ninjas in Pajamas and Virtus Pro. Then we've got kind of 2 of the teams hoping to maybe break into this top 4, Na'Vi and Titan, who I think are my number 6 and number 7. I think Titan was number 6 and Na'Vi was number 7.
Exactly
so those are the 6 teams that are in my top 7 in my world rankings in the top 10. So then after that, these other teams aren't ranked by me actually. So these are teams hoping to get into a top 10 in the world. So we've got the 2 American teams, Team Liquid and Cloud9, both hoping that they, with these lineups, can maybe make a break into these top European teams, these very high-level teams. Then we've got the outsiders, the guys coming from Oceania. We have Immunity, we have Vox. We've seen them we saw Immunity at Face It. We've seen Vox at the majors previously. But these teams have never had a top placing. They've never. If one of them was to make a semi-final here, this would be historic for the Oceanic region.
Thoughts as well, Richard?
I echo what Duncan's saying. I think I'm very interested to see how Na'Vi are going to do. I think they're a potential wild card in that group, especially with Ninjas in Pajamas kind of struggling a little bit. So, Fnatic, we saw them recently, over in France at DreamHack Tour, and they're still an imperious team, beating Envious on home soil. So they're clear favourites for that particular group. But yeah, it's interesting, and Team Liquid, I think, have got a mammoth task to beat anybody in that group, and that I've been really impressed with the development of Vox Eminor. You brought this up before, haven't you? That it is weird that the Australian team seem, especially Vox, seem to have a bit more impact when they come to these tournaments than even the NA teams do.
And another thing, just historically in these groups, Envious and Titan have this uncanny knack of just getting drawn in the same groups as each other. They're both from France anyway, so they know they're going to play in ESWC and stuff, but they've been drawn again and again. They were actually in the same group at DreamHack Tour in France last week. Fnatic and NiP were in the same group at, I think that was Face It that they were in the same group. Yeah, so they played from there. So we've already got some history, and obviously these are the two national rivalries, the two French teams, the two Swedish teams, and so they're having to play already in the group stage. Remember, with the way that group stage system goes, you need to get those 3 points if you want to get into the playoffs. So if they get spoiled, hey, maybe one of these favorites, perennial finalists doesn't make it even out of the group stage.
Yeah, because
they can put damage on each other in that sense. If Titan can take even one map from Envious, which they're a close matchup, hey, maybe they spoil Envious's chances if they get upset. You never know. Yeah,
because we were talking about, when it's the GSL style double elimination little group brackets, like you just got to win the best 3. It doesn't matter how you did in it.
Yeah.
But you could have some serious spoilers that won these matchups that could really screw some of the top teams.
I think it mainly is the underdogs who this format helps, because the key thing here is, if this was a best of 3, even if you won one map, the odds are overwhelming that a team like Fnatic and Envious will close you out on the other 2. They're so good at every map. But in this format, you win one map and you've got a point yourself, and you've stolen the extra point from their team. So you can have a big impact on how the event goes. And even if you don't get out of the group, let's say you have a decent result, but these are some of the best teams in the world, you can always be remembered as like, oh, well, the reason NiP didn't get out is because Vox got that one last map on them when, they just needed to get 2, or the reason why Titan actually did get in, whatever the reasons would be.
And so we put everyone on the spot. They left me off, thankfully. But let's talk a little about predictions. So we did ask all the casters and you guys your kind of predictions as you went through, the groups to see how people would do. So as you can see, Thorin. So you guys picked. You just picked just the winner, right?
Yep,
okay.
Yeah, just
so obviously,
the overall winner.
Heavy Fnatic, which makes perfect sense. #1 team in the world. And then again, 2 other decent picks, Envious.
Which actually makes Henry's pick very bold, though. Because here's the thing. NiP have made a lot of finals, but they've only won 1 tournament this year, which was the smaller one, Asus ROG in Finland, which didn't have these other teams here. Didn't have Envious, didn't have Fnatic. So everyone in general is going for the #1 team. I think Richards isn't a bad shout. It's a team that's very, very good. And hey, if someone beats Fnatic, that immediately makes them the favorite Envious. So I'm just interested how bold Henry's pick is.
I don't think he's being bold. I just don't think he knows what day it is, really. Which is fair enough. Henry's kind of he's a bit of a wild card himself.
He is a wild card.
Not really with it a lot of the time.
And actually really cool to see him casting with us.
Oh, yeah.
Another charity thing, letting little guys make a wish.
Little fellas.
Let them have a go.
Give him a little bit of love.
Got to. But just to justify the Envious pick a little bit.
Yeah, please do.
Because it is quite frightening, actually, when you look at it and you're just there all by yourself. I mean, like I say, we discount Henry and everyone else going for Fnatic. I was thinking, on paper, that is the smart play. But there were signs of life, if you like, out there in France on the stage. That game, it was closer. It could have been a lot closer. Obviously, Envious took the first map. I think the veto didn't particularly help them out there. I think it just played to Fnatic's strengths just a little bit. And if they can veto smart, and come up against Fnatic, who are going to have I think more of a slog to get out of their group. I think there's more people that potentially do damage to Fnatic than there is in the other group. That's
how I look at it. Like I say, it's for Envious, it's not even that they have to beat Fnatic, because that's been their problem. But for all you know, the right bracket stage could baguette sort of like a favourable championship run for a team like Envious. I think,
No, but I think it's their time as well. Look, I mean, they were super conscious about how they're slipping behind in this rivalry now. And it's like Duncan always says, a true rivalry is where teams can beat each other. And right now, Fnatic are just having the best of it all the time. So Envious need to really make a statement here, and I think they can do it.
Gotcha. And again, folks, if you're watching us on this channel, there is one more channel going. Basically, every match today is being streamed. So MLG has partnered to do kind of the Challenger Theater, if you will, and that's the same URL, but /TV2. So every match is going to be streamed today, either on this main channel that you're watching or the secondary channel by the MLG crew. So definitely not going to miss anything. You can watch every single match. Our first match is NiP versus Team Liquid. The first match in Challenger is Cloud9. Cloud9 versus Immunity. So you guys, that's right, they asked you 2 different things. They also asked you kind of your dark horse pick, other than your favorite. So let's go ahead and look and see how you guys did on that. Thorin, start this off.
Now, I'm actually a bit surprised by some of the other picks here, because maybe it's because there can be a lot of meanings to dark horse. Personally, I tend to think of it as the team that you wouldn't expect to win, but have the best chance of winning of the other team. So that's why I've picked Na'Vi. Because to me, it's going to be between Na'Vi, VP, Titan. Those are the teams where we know they can make finals. In case of Na'Vi and VP, they can even win titles. We've seen them do it. But they just wouldn't be the favorites. That's why I've gone with Na'Vi, because I think when I look at the teams here, with the right bracket, they're a team who, in a best of 3, they play up to the level of their opponent. They can challenge some of these teams. I've seen them beat Envious. I've seen them beat Virtus Pro. they could win a tournament like this. I don't know if they beat Fnatic, but hey, that's only one out of the top ones I don't. So I'm going to go with Na'Vi as my kind of dark horse here.
Yeah,
dangerous team.
And he's definitely not doing that to placate the people who hate him on Twitter.
I was going to bring this up. Is this some sort of olive branch to that
When
region?
have I ever put an olive branch out?
True.
If anything,
True.
I toss more
True.
petrol on. Here's the thing. Now I get to say I'm disappointed with them. You know, they haven't lived up to what do you expect from these guys?
It's good
you know?
thinking, Doug. You know, you set them up for the fall.
You know.
And what about you? You picked...
For me, it was Virtus Pro.
Okay.
And, look, we haven't seen them, for a while, but... I think Virtus Pro are always a wild card. They're always a dark horse every tournament they go into. Yep. It's an often used cliche, so I'm a bit loath to use it again. But if they can start a tournament well, we talk about momentum a lot. If they can get up ahead of steam in this, they're capable of beating any team here, and they've proven that, They can do that. So while I think, it's a tall order, for me, it is between Na'Vi and Virtus Pro, and I think Virtus Pro just have that tournament-winning experience that gives them a slight edge for me.
Okay.
I mean, the one that shocked me was there was 3 people there that we saw pick Cloud9.
Yeah.
So
Eyeballs just rolling up in their head.
I think there's some Kool-Aid's being sipped on
Yeah,
there. I mean,
big
Semler's
time,
going
big
with
time.
his original side. There's not enough French teams here, so he's, I'm American still, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that's almost like the serious upset possible pick, right?
That's
versus
pretty
dark
bold
horse.
to think they might have a chance of winning. So I'm wondering
even if they would have asked me, I would have had to not go that route. I learned my lesson.
That's like a dark unicorn pick, mate. That's how insane that is.
So let's talk about our first matchup. Again, folks, we are sorry we were a little delayed today. Valve decided to drop a Friday update on the servers. So normally it's a Wednesday, so we had to patch it last minute. So we are apologizing about that. We're going to get right into this one. Ninjas in Pajamas versus Team Liquid. So you can see the team setting up. I think one of the cool things we do want to talk about is there was we're generally the most real analysts and hosts there are. Like we call BS when we need to and all that. Yeah. And again, Gfinity got a lot of grief last event because of the boost size.
Yes.
Too small. Literally too small. Players that never do it had to play with keyboards on their lap. That's going to screw you up.
Which is how the Russian quite
if you were cooler, you'd be loving it, right?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, most people are not like that. So during this break, they have made the boost bigger. They've moved us into the room. They've moved the caches around to basically make more room on the stage. So nice big boost. I was in the boost. They are the most soundproof, thickest, tightest boosts I've seen in esports.
Well, you slept there last night.
Yeah, I mean, they're gorgeous. And again, nice improvements, right?
That's how they knew it was soundproof, because no one could hear his snoring.
No one
could
could
actually build it specifically for that.
It was soundproof for our benefit.
Exactly, it was out of control.
But nice improvement. You got to give credit where credit's due. So they listened and they fixed it. So again, we're getting right into it. Initial thoughts on this matchup, and then we're going to talk about. Well, actually, let me give you the maps first, then, because that'll help you. So,
let's get into it.
So what we know are the 2 maps that we are going to do is Dust 2 and Inferno. The first one is Dust 2. Second one is Inferno. And the way the vetoes worked out is NiP got rid of map 1. NiP got rid of Mirage and Overpass. And Liquid got rid of Train and Cobblestone. And basically, they got rid of both those on both map picks. Second map, again, being Liquid's pick of Inferno.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a fairly standard series. I totally get it from Liquid's perspective. What they've done is they've tried to eliminate maps that do require that sort of extra level of tactical awareness, that extra level of, the excellence of execution. Just to an Inferno, you can play more loose. You can basically brute force rounds on those 2 maps, which is very good when you're coming up against superior opposition, which I think we can all agree in the form of NiP, that's what Team Liquid are up against. What I'm really intrigued about overall in terms of this matchup is, and me and Duncan have been debating this back and forth this morning. Team Liquid have had, again, a long flight. I believe it was delayed. They didn't get here as soon as they'd like. They would have liked to have boot camped. They're coming into this really unprepared. Now, I think because of that, they're at a disadvantage. However, Duncan's theory is, if you're going to play a team like NiP, playing them first before they've had time to settle into a tournament, that's a good time to play them. So I don't know which side of the fence I'm on. I mean, you can elaborate more on your thoughts.
It's never certain which way it'll go, but that's the thing. It's not so clear-cut that it's definitely a disadvantage for one or the other, because the other thing is, like I'm saying there, if NiP come along and they're thinking, well, we've been in a million tournaments, you play the first game, you warm up, you get things going, that's when you can jump on them, and hey, in this format, you just steal a map, you got a point there, and you take their 3 points away. So what's interesting is I should be able to tell you, they played a best-of-3 at Face It, and it was really interesting, but they didn't, because this was supposed to be the final game of that group in Group A, remember? But Liquid, shockingly, on the last 2 rounds, lost to Immunity, and they never got to play NiP. So Liquid themselves are coming in with that on the back of their minds. They've already failed to make they got into the major. Oh no, they actually failed to make it into the major. That's right. They didn't even get through the Katowice qualifier, so there was that against them. They've got a slightly different team now, but then they came to Europe for Face It before they had Flowsick in. And like I say, they finished last place in the group, and that was the group that had Immunity in it. In theory, they're the team that are supposed to be like, if we get a map, that's a great performance. And remember, all the NA excuses are always like, we can't practice with Europeans, we don't have like full-time jobs yet. You know, our players are inexperienced. Well, the Immunity guys had all these excuses and more, and they still beat you. So for Liquid, I think right now, even though we'd placed them in the group as a team with a chance to do a big performance, they just need a solid performance. And so against a team like NiP, it's a great chance to start off there. If you can get a map off them, you immediately put some of that behind you, because I think they've got an uphill challenge in their group. They've got a tough one.
Yeah, and I talked to Adrian a little bit, Eric, on Team Liquid, kind of about the map choices. And, you know, he said we could go 2 ways. We could try to cheese them and maybe not pick our best maps, but definitely go down their bad map road, or we can just kind of put our best game against their best game, and that's why they did their vetoes.
Historically, the NA teams have repeatedly done that. They always go the route of picking what they think are their best maps. So as a result, that's why they've got Inferno here. Well, here's the thing. Inferno is a map that TSM is brilliant on, and yet in the final of Face It, NiP 16-1'd TSM on Inferno. And I've seen Liquid do this before. At MLG, Liquid allowed Fnatic to take Inferno, and they got smashed on that as well when they were playing on T-side. So when they play Inferno, that's the real danger map for me. I think they have a chance to get rounds on Dust 2. They can play off the individual skill. Nitro can get kills. But on Inferno, I could see them being absolutely embarrassed, and then I wonder, will that whole philosophy, will they change it? Because to me, I prefer as the underdog to go that route. Let's try and get them onto Overpass, get them onto Cobblestone, something that they don't play normally, you know. If you play them on a map like Inferno, which they can be amazing on, you can get outright humiliated on. Then what excuse do you have? It's one of your best maps.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the interesting thing here. It's like, you know, I probably put Dust 2 just down to NiP but with Inferno, they go through phases you know, on this Ninjas in Pyjamas. You think right back to the start of their inception when Freiburg was the king of banana, I believe, you know, and he was just rampaging up there. He could force entry frags. Well, Freiburg's not in a run of good form right now. I'm sure he wouldn't mind, you know, me saying that. You know,
and they have a choice, Rich.
Yeah, exactly. Because I am saying
too late.
You're in a soundproof booth, so you can't do nothing about it. But the point is,
I think that's why they made the booth bigger, right?
I wasn't going to go. It's low-hanging fruit, that don't. But anyway, right? You know, the point is they've gone through these phases, and now they're in a new phase. You know, they're coming into this more kind of slow build-up play. It's not, you know, and they're trying to utilize Arlu a bit more on it. You know, it's both defensively and offensively. So I guess this is probably as good a time, you would think. But then you hark back to that result where you've just dominated TSM, one of the better Inferno teams. I think, like I say, I can't see anything other than a 2-0.
Here's the thing. I agree with you, Rich. I think this is one of the more mortal and weak times that NiP's looked. But I don't think they're in a losing to Team Liquid phase.
No.
I still think they should 2-0 this.
Gotcha. And let's talk about another thing. I always ask about it. We talk about it every time we're on desk. This idea of coaches.
On desk, okay,
On the desk,
Not that stuff we talk about.
Not that other.
Extracurricular.
Not that. Oh no. If that ever made the internet, boy, we'd all.
Her name's
boycotted.
Crystal, but you know.
Like Reddit would more than ban us. Let's talk about coaches though, because NiP has added a new coach, Peta out, Natu in, and even Liquid has D-Mode, who's actually. And I even asked him like you know. Honest Engine, coaching.
D-Mode, he sounds like a COD player.
D-Mode, yeah. Old school, like, he's North American Counter-Strike guy for a long time.
He goes back,
But because Stunna will say I'm more of a manager, motivator, not a coach. And D-Mode's no, I do both. So we do have two kind of coaches in the building.
Then let it be upon his head if the tactics aren't up to par, if people are playing out of line. Hey, if you're a real coach, that actually does fall on you.
Yeah, I mean, that's who gets fired first in real sports, right? Is the coach before the player.
I wasn't going to suggest that he gets fired.
No, I'm just saying. But
you're a harsher critic than I am.
That pressure should come with that role, right?
No, I think that's good.
I think whoever does worse on this desk should get fired. It should be sort of like a Survivor Island type scenario.
I like Scooter's ideas.
Get on your A game, Scott. I'm just saying.
If they lose,
I'm out.
If they lose to NiP, you're right. You absolutely should be fired, Scott. I'm glad that's a takeaway point.
Reddit, you heard him.
I'm a bit shocked.
White House
to say that.
.gov petition to deport him from the USA.
But it's like, you know, you've made the don't care money, so you can just say whatever you want.
Is that what it's called? The don't care money?
The don't care. I like that.
It's PG-13.
That's going to catch on that.
The don't care money.
But anyway, you know,
frivolous money.
I don't know how much the coaches are going to come into play here. The impression I've always got with NiP. And again, I say this with all due respect and reverence, and hopefully when they watch this back, which I'm sure they obsessively will do.
Hi, boys.
Hi, how are you doing? You know, they've always took me as, right, look, you don't coach Forest. You don't coach Get Right. right? You know, what you're there to do is you're there to motivate, maybe observe some dynamics that are going on extracurricular and perhaps feed that back in. You know, better comms, boys, better comms.
Yeah.
Here's some water, stay hydrated. I think that's the level of access you're going to get as a coach on NiP. Simple as that. And we've talked about this numerous times. You especially exist, and his sort of his mindset about how he wants to captain the team and how he wants to govern the team. If a coach had any input, he'd be saying your veto phase is crap, mate. You've got to change it because it's costing you games. So I don't think they have that level of access. I think Natu is there to basically be that moral support guy. I think he's going to help with Arlu because obviously the Finnish connection. I think he's brought in for moral support because they're going through a real tough patch.
Okay.
And it amazes me. For a team that's won so much, I've never seen anyone get so upset about the defeats. Like, losing really hurts this team. And I think, if anything, you know, Arlu's there to act as that buffer. Now, I can't speak to Team Liquid at all what their sort of relationship is. But if D-Mode is actually doing some coaching, then, you know, I think that's great. But I don't think you're ever going to see that with NiP.
Yeah, again, just said, like, who's going to, like, how do you tell
how do you
like
do
you said, an extra set of eyes, though, certainly helps.
The thing is, it is an existing, though, because actually, if you remember, at the beginning of 2014, they tried this experimental period where they put Fiflaren back as the in-game leader, and Exist was just a player. And what happened with that was, Fiflaren played great still, even though he was the in-game leader. He was fragging more than ever. It was Exist's game that really went away from him, because the difference was he didn't control the whole game. He didn't get to decide where he attacked, where he was, what he was doing in the round. So, as a result, I feel like he's a guy who needs some of that control. That's where he gets his comfort level from. For Liquid, I don't know this guy, so I don't know what his capabilities are, but I think it's a very good idea, because when I've seen Liquid in these past tournaments, when they went out in the Katowice offline qualifier losing the flip side, when they lost to Immunity on the deciding map, both times were on Mirage. They were both the same scenarios. They were leading the game. They were on CT side where you're supposed to be favored and be able to close it out. And both times it was really poor in-game calls by Adren or Daps, whoever was the leader at the time. They were unable to kind of have an overview on the game, and they made the same bad calls over and over again. So maybe a coach looking at all the monitors, seeing what's going on, he can just be the guy who breaks that up.
Well, just putting him in the quarterback position, you know, so those bad calls don't manifest themselves, because sometimes in the heat of the moment, you know, it's very easy to make those mistakes. Like, look, if we do this, you know, it went wrong last time, but we know what went wrong. And then it goes wrong again. And then it's another situation comes, well, it's not going to go wrong a third, and then it does. And these are the things that break you mentally. You're like, I can't believe that we can't get this right. It should work. Like, my thinking is correct. Just having someone who stands back and goes, look, right, it went wrong last time. Let's not repeat it. Let's do something different. Stay calm, you know. So, yeah, I think having someone in a quarterback position for a team where maybe there's somebody that isn't quite used to the calling role, somebody that maybe has put themselves under pressure. And I think Team Liquid are at that stage now where they do need to start delivering a little bit. Team Liquid's a huge brand. They're a huge organization. They've come into this space, picked up a capable team, and they're serious about wanting to perform. We've just had this great NA shuffle, and obviously Team Liquid have just been there, you know, perhaps haven't had the best of it, of what's been going around. So I think they need to start, you know, showing, like, look, there's been a show of faith here. We need to up our game.
And more than that, I think to focus on a player, Adren must get a good result at one of these LANs, because he's a guy who's never had a good result in CSGO at a European LAN. There's other teams have when he's left them and he hasn't been on them yet. But the rest of the team, okay, I understand why they're in the position they were. They used to just be the denial team. They used to be some okay players who were hoping to become the third best NA team. So for a lot of them, they've been kind of boosted up, and now they're in a position to, hey, maybe we can be top 2, maybe we can compete. But Adren's the guy where we can't keep waiting forever for some results from this guy. So if he does it with a different set of people, then the same kind of stigma is going to be attached to
it. And the thing is, Adren, when he was part of Team Dynamic, like back in the day, you know, that were the North American dominant force at the end of CSS, this was a guy who was, like, instrumental in their success. Like, he was a big game player. He was an absolute monster. So, you know, this is a guy who I think, you know, he's used to success. Like, he comes from that background. He knows what it takes to win everything that was going in NA, to come over and compete with Europeans. So I think he needs to, you know, find his level and pass off some of that experience. You know, he's been there, done that. So you're absolutely right. I think he's a player to highlight. He's somebody that we really need to have a long look at here.
And in terms of, like, firepower on Liquid, listen, because you're hoping for an upset here or some round. They'll get some rounds on NiP. The guy you want to look at, the obvious one, okay, is Nitro, because he's probably the most skilled. He's the most flashy. He can definitely even out-aim some of the NiP players from time to time. He's better than some of them. But the guy that I actually think is a bit underrated on the Liquid team is the guy Fogly, because what I noticed was Nitro, I wonder if he watches the scoreboard sometimes. He's a guy where sometimes when, like, his score isn't doing so well, he'll maybe bait a little bit, or he'll play a bit more passively and just try and ensure he gets the 1 or 2 kills, whatever. Maybe he's a confidence player. But actually, Fogley's the guy where I notice when they win these rounds, when they get rounds on European teams, he's like the impact kills. He's not as good as Nitro, but he has more of an impact, I think. So I want to see how that dynamic develops over the tournament, because I feel like if they're ever going to be a threat, Nitro has to develop into a legit star. He has to be at the level of like a Get Right, Alu, these sorts of high-level Europeans. He can't just be the best on his team, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, it looks like the knife round is starting, so we're going to quickly kind of look at this as we keep talking. Again, knife, they're knifing for sides, standard stuff. We're not really going to cast this. I know people like to do wacky accents and stuff, but so just final thoughts on this first map as we watch the knife.
I mean, to me, it's got to be Liquid have to get this one if they want to have a chance at the series. Like, I think if they lose this, going into Inferno is going to be hard. So I think this is the round. This is the map they can get rounds on. I still have NiP winning it though. NiP can be very good on Dust 2 when they want to be.
This is a 16-6-16.
And then we'll come back at the end of the matchup, so we won't be back between maps as of right now. At least I could never know it changes. So initial thoughts and kind of predictions on Inferno. You're saying 2-0 overall.
I think 2-0.
It's got to be.
You care to give scores or just want to?
Well, I think on Dust 2 it'll be somewhere in the region of a 16-6, 16-8. I think NiP have just got too much quality, be it T or CT, even in the current meta.
I'll give them a few more rounds. I'll say maybe Liquid can get 9 rounds on Dust 2. I think Inferno is the one where I see them just getting destroyed.
Okay. All right. I think the casters are ready. The teams are finally ready.
And we got a pair of beauties here, haven't we? Like, absolute pair of beauties.
Look at. I'm sorry, folks. We're just going to stare
at
them for a few minutes.
Was it hair gel? Was it hairspray? We'll decide in the game.
See these two.
Yeah. Hey, sponsored by Brill Cream.
The best that Britain has to offer, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that was a clean joke.
The GQ casters of the Gfinity Arena, Henry G and DDK. Take it away, gentlemen.
Hey guys, welcome to the caster desk. I'm here with Henry G, of course, and that build-up to that switch, that was really tense. That was really awkward.
I don't think I've been ripped apart more in my life than that build-up we just had. So yeah, excited to be here. What a great first game we've got lined up. Yeah, so we can see the knife round has begun, and here we go. We're actually into the game. So I'll let you take it away, Dan.
All right. Well, we already have a push coming up along. Quick execute here from NiP. They're not messing around. 20 seconds into this round, they're already on that A bomb site. The rotation is coming in, and we have lost the game, Henry G. We
have, so I think they're just looking at our faces again. They just wanted to make the point of how good we do look today, but we can hear the bomb ticking away.
Yep. We're going to need to get the game back on one of our screens.
I'll try and tell you what's going on via sound.
We got this, the bomb is ticking away. We haven't had the defuse yet, so.
Glocks are being superior here. Bomb is ticking, Glocks are still going. I imagine it's a 2-on-1.
That's one Glock out, the guy died. Who was shooting the Glock?
It's a 1-on-1 now. And it's a T round.
Yeah, it's got to be. No defuse coming in.
This is the this is the level of insight I bring. The audio and paint a picture for everyone at home, the thousands of people.
Well, I think they can probably see the game.
Can they?
Probably. Yeah, they can see the game. It's just us. It's just us that are neglected in all of this, Henry.
Oh, that's fine. Well, there we go. We've got something.
Boom.
We're back. So Ninjas in Pyjamas do take that first round, and it looks like there will be a force buy coming in from Liquid, though.
Excellent. All right. So already, wow, how are you going to be able to take a quick kill onto Nitro? Those scouts quite deadly, but looks to be slow so far here for NiP. Other than that.
Absolutely. We can see that the Scout's going to be a big part of this tournament, I feel. We can see Liquid actually picking up 2 of them themselves. NiP have opted for a couple of rifles, actually 3 of them. So they've got 1 Mac-10 in hand on Forest and an AK on Get Right, which is interesting. I think on Dust 2, that is the best formula to go with. Keep it long range. Don't rush into the bomb sites where you could potentially get wrecked by those CZs. And I think we're going to see Liquid there just trying to work any picks.
Yeah, it's looking good for NiP now, just deciding to go for that B push altogether, sticking with those SMGs and rifles. And so far, they're yet to lose a man. Legion's trying to be a bit troublesome, but he's not causing all that much damage just yet, as the bomb is going to go down. The Dren's going to pick up 1, but still, Legion's just causing havoc out there. And can they actually pull this off here? We've got Exis, who's quite low. Forest is scoutable. Yep. 1 shot, and he is going to be going down rather promptly, but the bomb is ticking away right now. They don't have a kit, just going to fall back and see if they can get the exits here, and it's going to be Get Right who's going to cut off the full back movement there from Liquid, and all of them will be eliminated. So none of those force by weapons actually saved.
No, this is exactly the start Liquid didn't want. I feel on this map they definitely wanted to get the strong CT start. I think it was a bit of an all-in from them to get the scouts out and see what kind of magic they could work with them. They got a couple of picks, to be fair, but like it obviously wasn't enough. I think NiP made the right decision going towards B, locking down a stifled bomb site where you can't really cause too much damage to those scouts. And now we're going to see the full eco coming in here from Liquid. You can see them kind of opting for this kind of strange stacking towards B. They've crossed quite late, and it's NiP are already in there. It'll be interesting how this pans out.
Forrest is ready to make some money, but he's only going to get one kill with the SMG. Exist is going to find Flowsick there as he pokes his head in, but NiP actually kind of baiting here, moving the bomb towards the A bomb site. So Liquid might be able to pick up some weapons here, but it's going to be Ali there holding off these rotating players, and great shot there onto Elige. That's going to definitely slow things down. Fugly is going to have the SMG in hand, and perhaps he can cause some damage with this.
Yeah, quite an interesting play from NiP there. Like to go in as a 2, as a fake on an anti-eco is normally not advised, because if these guys fail inside B, you're left in a very tricky situation. But they made it work. They got themselves into B, got a couple of kills, got the CTs rotating. Looks like Liquid were actually setting themselves up for that play initially, so it kind of worked. Perfect play from NiP there in terms of prediction. But they set themselves up very nicely here, and you can see that the AWP is coming out from Alu, and that battle will begin. Adren not opting to take one. They're going for 5 rifle setup.
And Freiburg just jumped straight down Suicide there. Fast timing to take top mid. We're seeing a pretty standard round coming out here from NiP as they work their way down to the middle, and cat control soon as well. Freiburg always the first man. Checking actually has the bomb. They're going to drop that one. Now, Liquid, they have no idea exactly what's going to happen for NiP. Is it going to be cat drop? Is it going to be an execute onto A?
You could never tell with NiP though. They're the kind of team you can't really read. They're reading you. They're trying to feel out exactly what the CTs are doing, and then they react. It's very hard to predict exactly what they're going to do. So Liquid are on the back foot here. Definitely, you can see they've got no position on short whatsoever right now.
Really interesting move here though from NiP. They're going for that A execute, the wall of smokes, but they didn't push anyone up on the long area. So Liquid still have control of long with 2 players, despite the bomb being down. So Liquid could very well mount some kind of a retake here, as they are still 5 alive. And here we go now. Everyone's rotating. That spray from Elige, not too bad. Only takes 1 kill though, as Nitro is going to find his way up there, and they will be able to pick up quite a few kills here. NiP struggling. Freiburg has a lot of work to do on the bomb site. Spraying away, picks up 1. Can he get the 3rd player? It won't happen, but get right there to delay, and that is the GG move there with that Molotov. There's no way the defuse can come in, and despite dying, another round by NiP.
Great retake by Liquid there. They did very well to actually Elige get a kill and a headshot there. It looked like it was going to go in their favour all of a sudden, but for me, when the fact that NiP can get the bomb down without any frags being exchanged whatsoever, you're always going to struggle with that retake. There's not enough time left on the board to actually do that. You need to have some sort of presence on that. I want to see them get Adren on the AWP. He needs to be controlling A and stopping no pick, at least getting 1 pick before they can just plant like that. It's so easy. Now you can see he's going to be in that 5-0 situation. They've gone for like PT50s here. Not really going to cause any too much harm here. We can see Alu has actually opted for a Mac 10 here. It's interesting. So we'll see how that pans out for him. But I see this round going only one way. As long as NiP play sensibly and don't do anything too crazy, they should be fine here.
And it's looking not too shabby so far. Just 2 players there for Liquid. And on the last round as well, something that, to note, which I really liked from NiP, is that kind of an A execute from them is a really big variation. I don't think I saw that at the execute done quite like that when they have 5 players once from the last tournament, so they're always mixing it up. Normally we've seen them before, like when they know they have that short control, they actually have a full smoke takedown and they plant the bomb on the other side. They didn't even have to do that last round. They realised someone peeked and said, guys, no one's even facing us on A. So they just made their way up, a couple of flashes into spawn and made their way straight in there. And we can see, here we go, Adren has picked up the AWP here. This is what he had to do. He needs to get some control here. It'll be interesting to see exactly where he does go. Will he try and chase the battle here? And it looks like Alu is actually going to get away with no competition there. But here we go, see how this unfolds. Yeah, 3 players to upper dark here for NiP. So with the Dren pushed up on catwalk, lots of info here for Liquid. They've got 2 players kind of at Noah stacking in the middle area to deal with any kind of mid timings, and so far nothing there by NiP. They're going to go straight for that B play, straight through the smoke as well, but they're getting slowed down here, and it's Fugly over by the box at the back of Plateau that's going to have no problem dealing with this. Nitro's there as well, but there it is, Forrest just tapping heads. 2 quick kills from Forrest. That's the bomb site now, pretty much under control, but here comes Nitro, very fast through the window, able to just slow them down, delay that attempt to get the bomb planted. There's still a minute left on the clock, and Liquid, they know exactly what's up, but the bomb is going to finally go down, but not in the best plant situation ever, just in the corner of the site there, a bit more awkward than you'd otherwise hope for as the T side. But these positions in this 3-on-3 for NiP are good. It's questionable whether they even go for this retake with the AWP in hand. It's going to be very, very difficult indeed. They don't really have any idea what the players are. Here we go. Will this work out for them? Okay, they're going to go in and not going to be able to get the entries they need. Get Right puts the stop in. Flow6 in the bomb site, but no kit on him. Actually, no, he does have a kit, but there it is. Freiberg is going to take him down from the back. Almost a very scary situation. Kind of passing through the blind spot there. Able to pick up 2 kills, but NiP's economy, it does look pretty good still. So
yeah, we saw Adrian trying to get that map control. He's trying to get information lower B, trying to work out where NiP are heading towards. But NiP got such a good economy here, they can afford to kind of get away with these kind of almost random pushes. They're walking through the smoke and B, obviously not very advised. Liquid did do quite well, got quite a lot of damage off, but they're in a horrible position there now. Liquid get forced Famous by, but oh god, Unleashed making great work of that. Makes 2 frags on short there, and it looks like this play might have to be slowed down by NiP a bit.
That lovely cat boost there coming into play for Liquid, that fast timing. Going to be dropping the bomb on Catwalk, but it's not deep enough in Cat for them to really take advantage. So they are going to move as a unit back towards Long now and try to preemptively get some good positions here, as they maybe are going to predict that NiP are going to be making a play one which way or the other. But actually they've got a pretty big spread at the moment now, have Liquid. Yeah,
it looks like Alu's going to have to do the work here. They need Alu to get a pick here or now if they've got any chance of getting back into this round. You can see him waking his way up here with the flashbang. He needs to make this pick for any chance of NiP to get back into this.
Oh, so close there from Alu. But he is actually just going to be causing quite the delay on the rotation right now. And with the players basically 2 on Long, if they go for the B hit now, that's going to be such a long rotation. Liquid, they have to slow this push down, and that smoke is going to do the perfect job. 35 seconds left now.
Yeah, such a stifling smoke. You can see the rotations coming in from NiP now. They've got time is not again on their side. They've got 30 seconds to get the bomb down here. It's be very difficult. 3 CTs waiting for them. Unless they've got some sort of magic left in them, it's going to be almost impossible to get this bomb down. They've got the money on their side. They may as well go for it. But there we go. It's quite an easy shutdown. And that was a great round from Liquid there. Picking up the first 2 frags from Elise on short. That's what they need to do here. They need to be surprising NiP. Don't give them so much freedom they can walk up onto the bomb site and plant. They need to be in their faces, surprising them and getting some sort of control on the map. So I think we'll see a lot more of that from them going forward. And it would be nice to see them play a bit more dynamic and kind of getting in the faces of NiP.
Okay, well, Ali's yet to really pick up much damage or a kill from the cross AWPing, but it's going to be 3 players quickly to Long here. Very standard stuff from Liquid. They're running this very default, very safe setup, and in this kind of a setup, your short control is usually very poor as the CTs. It's the only real downside to it. But NiP going to be bullying their way into A Long, and they've got 2 players towards short as well. So are they going to be committing towards this A play, or are they just trying to get some kills and then make a decision later on? Well, Adren is really close here now. Is he going to try to push through the smoke? He's moving in amongst them. Wow. No idea where he is, no idea where the players are, but he finds just the back of Get Right, and he's too confused there. Can't pick up the kill. NiP take over Long. They've got a man up on Catwalk, spotting into the bomb site. This round looks fantastic here for NiP.
Yeah, nice methodical play from them. Didn't rush through the smoke, made sure they worked together and got frag for frag. Didn't lose anyone there. And Alu picks up another one. This should be a round pretty easily in the favour of NiP here. Like I said before, it's quite a default setup from Liquid there. Going to have to do a lot more than that. They're going to want to slow down the raw aim and talent NiP have. I think they need to be picking people off, get the AWP in a position where it's actually doing work for them instead of waiting to get picked off.
Yeah, NiP have put a lot of focus on the trading game so far. The one cool thing I liked about that cat push was it was on a timing where Liquid knew that NiP knew that they couldn't have an AWP. So in spots like that, sometimes the Ts can just jump down suicide for a really very safe, untelegraphed, fast timing onto short. But that got completely blown up by Liquid just being like, hey, well, we're going to cat boost as well. So yeah, we need to see more interesting plays indeed from them, especially as their economy is so poor.
And we can see a pause going in here. Someone's dropped out of the server. Yeah, so we will be having a short pause here. We're going to have a look at the economy on the CTs. Interesting to see whether they decide to do this or will they go for a force buy of the pistol. I assume they'll just work off the AWP and see what picks they can get with it. And it looks like we'll have a quick reboot of the PC here, so it's going to be a couple of minutes pause here. But so far, as everyone predicted, it's quite easy sailing for Ninjas in Pyjamas so far. 7-1 on the T side. We've seen them start T side so many times before. And I think we'll be jumping out of the game quickly. There we go. But yeah, it's been plain sailing for NiP so far. I think this is Liquid need to buck their ideas up. Kind of like I said, they need to be playing a little bit more dynamically, getting in the faces, and even doing things like just smoking off choke points and trying to get map control, even on middle, smoking off Alu's vision and kind of ways controlling middle and getting the calls off so far, and then using Adren more. I haven't seen him actually have that much impact into the rounds yet.
Yeah, I wonder actually if if NiP did any studying after seeing the groups, just look at, maybe like look at 1 demo or 2 demos of the Dust 2 of Liquid, just trying to catch themselves up, just not to be in for any surprises. Of course, against Immunity, they had a very close call over at the Faceit LAN, 16-14 in their group match against them, so that was pretty scary. But the reason why I say that is because we had that situation where, again, they have this really awesome wall of smokes play, but usually that is combined with some pressure on long, or someone pushing long. Usually it's going to be Get-Right who's going to do that, and Forest stays back for the lurk. But in that position, they kind of gave up the lurk, and they didn't really have anyone on, they had no one on long, basically. So of course it worked out really well, because there were 2 players for Liquid who were just holding long for really late into the round. And so it could be that they made that read that, hey, you know what, they keep 2 players on long for a prolonged duration.
They bank on the retake. And although, like, for me, it could have gone either way. It was 1 frag in it maybe, but Get-Right had that Molotov in hand, and it was just, like we said, like the bomb's going down before a frag is even exchanged. If you've just got too much, you've got 35 seconds to find 5 frags and defuse a bomb. It's just a very difficult challenge. And for me, like, they need to be getting, like, start showing some presence on short, I think. Like, they've tried Adren with the AWP on short. I think they need to be playing those kind of setups. Like, it's quite obvious they're playing people down long right now and going for this retakes. I think that they can get some CTs on short, battling them like they have. We saw them do it with the FAMAS, and it worked fantastically. Just stick to what's working and try and bring more of those rounds to the table. So here we go. We can see, we looked like we're going back into this now. They've opted to get a couple of Deagles out and rely on this AWP. Let's see, they have to go for the mid pick here. Can he find Alu here?
All right, so the smoke is going to make his life a little bit more difficult. However, Flow6 is going to pick up 1 towards long as the entries are coming for either side. And NiP, they've got all the map control they want at the moment, but oh dear, they're going to lose the bomb up on middle. Adren with a very key kill, and that's going to change everything now here for Liquid. Now, Get-Right's got to fall back towards Cat to pick up the bomb, but again, it's quite exposed. Adren's in a position to potentially punish a player, and Freiberg is sitting here as well. Up Cat to see if he can help Get-Right. Now, can they get a kill here as NiP go for the bomb?
If they play this right, Nitro should get a couple of kills, but it looks like, oh, perfect player going up short. CTs haven't really got any presence here at all. This is the best thing NiP could have done. If they just continue like they did in that first going round, is get up, plant the bomb without any interaction with the CTs, I think they're onto a winner here. They would probably just, if the bomb goes down, I'd say they probably just want to save the AWP with no kits in hand. Well, actually, Fugly has got a kit, but saving the AWP for me is going to be most important in this situation. See, here we go. Rotations coming in. Will they go for it?
And Freiberg, the weakest player, the first see contact. Here goes the spray. There's one. Knows what the second one is. Nitro is there. Can he find the just single bullet that he needs? There it is. He'll pick up the kill, and that's going to be some weapons that they'll be able to claim. So actually 2 AWPs in the hands of Liquid at the moment. They're going to try to go for this, but they have to be really quick because they don't have a kit, and Exist is just sitting there by the pit position, but he's against AWPs, so this could actually happen if a Liquid, but they have to get on this defuse straight away. And here it is, the battle commences. Exist trying to tap down the diffuser, and it's definitely going to be both of them losing the AWPs, and it feels like that was a really needless situation. That was a huge amount of... Those 2 AWPs could have changed a lot.
Absolutely. Well, the economy is still looking reasonably strong. They've lost so many rounds now that they can keep buying. We can see Adren is picking up the AWP again. They would have been nice to save that, to kind of use that to contribute to future rounds, but we can see here CT's going for their kind of standard setup here. They're not really changing things up too much. They're kind of just NiP are just doing what they normally do. They're filling out the map, working out where the CTs are, and they're going into it from there. Like, NiP is a team you need to kind of surprise and kind of knock them off their game, so they don't have so much freedom on the map. I'd imagine it looks like they're kind of setting up for the mid split here. Their famous kind of walk out, smoke CT spawn and bust up to B. I think it works amazingly well here, especially when the CTs have no presence in mid-to-world. There we go, down it goes, and this should be quite a clean round for NiP here. This works so effectively.
A very scary push, very untelegraphed until the last second, and is that going to be enough time for them to react? Well, so far this crossfire is working out. They pick up 1 kill, standing on Nitro's head. The trade's coming in for both sides. 3 against 3 now as the bomb is planted, and the retake is now on for Liquid, as they need to make their way up and use all the team play they can, but Get-Right's here in dark to cut them off. Flow6. Oh, he's going to get the kill, finds their head somehow, some way. Get-Right's going to get taken out, and Alige works in onto the platform as well. And it's just Forest left against 3 players. He gets the 2. Now there's just Adren left. He picks up the AK to get himself a bit more movement behind this push back into the bomb site, but it's going to be very difficult. Oh, Adren, he made it happen, but he does not have the time. No kid indeed. We'll be able to save the AWP potentially this time, but it's going to be another round for NiP.
That's really unfortunate, being the AWP in the last being the last man. Obviously, you have the biggest expense that round, and he obviously couldn't afford the kit. Great work from him, great read to see if he had the kit, he could have taken that. But like we said, we knew that play, like, I think every team should know that NiP does that and will take advantage if you show no presence in middle, walk out, no interaction with the CTs whatsoever, and smoke down up they went. And Liquid did quite well and got themselves back into the round, but now we see them back in this position where they've got one AWP and the pistols in hand. It's going to be so difficult to even get close to this round. There we go. The AWP goes down straight away, so that's the economy straight down the toilet, and we can see Flowstick trying to edge it back. Will he be able to make a frag out of this?
He didn't know how far they'd pushed, actually, otherwise he could have potentially reclaimed the AWP, but it's just going to be an easy clean-up here for NiP against Liquid, and indeed, that's pretty demotivating. You walk out, it's like, I got this, boys.
Yeah,
on the angle.
When you're the AWPer, you should really be winning those one-on-ones. It's like when you're the only chance you've got of winning the round gets headshot straight away. It's kind of demotivating.
And his spot exists as well. He was just running in with the timing, so
he got the best spawn. But here we go, full buy. I really think Liquid do need the rest of the round, or it is game over already. As we can see here, they are actually showing some presence on short here. It's kind of what I was saying. They need to mix up the play. Long is not working for them. They need to be able to rotate towards middle and battle this short pressure they're getting at the moment. So they've left Long down to, I assume, the AWP is on A. I can't really see that right now, but we'll see how this pans out for them.
Yeah, Dren is on catwalk with his AWP. He has shown his presence there before as well. He has caused some problems for NiP, and you can see Liquid with a lot of presence here towards middle. This is kind of the timing for it, as NiP usually start to move in, and there it is. Freiburg goes in, gets taken down. Great stuff there from Liquid, and the push is going to commence. Can they stop this? Stage 2 of the push from NiP into the B bomb site. Liquid are holding their ground at the moment. They want to play together and get right. Once again, he's causing so many problems on the backsides of this push. And now he's just going to lurk in upper dark. So really nice defense here from the Swedes at the moment.
It's going to be very difficult. Get Right's kind of scared the CTs off a bit, I think, so they're all going to have to come in through this main way. You can see they've only got a couple of flashbangs left, and what they're going to do with them, they have to make their way in now, and they're going to be fully blind going in. It's going to be an absolute massacre as they make their way into the bomb side. Liquid absolutely decimated there. Adren, again, having to save his AWP, and we're seeing this happen quite a lot. Almost every single round, it feels like it's just the AWPer left around trying to find a hiding space, but I don't think he's going to get away with this time. He will be going down in the next 5 seconds, I'd imagine.
He got 2 tags though. That's quite. That's
annoying.
I mean, it doesn't
that sums up this game for him, really, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Well. Doesn't really matter, but it's kind of depressing a little bit for him. So 11-1, definitely a very strong scoreline so far from NiP. They've been playing quite well, but it's definitely been a hard story in terms of Liquid's economy.
They haven't had to work for these rounds though. It feels like they're just coming onto the bomb side. There's been a couple of close calls where it's been a clutch situation, but ultimately the mid-round meta has just been going one way, and that's for me is in terms of NiP.
This is the same kind of push we saw give them results.
They should be doing this on the gun rounds, to be honest. In more dynamic play, don't save it for when you've got no money and nothing to work with. Do it. Surprise the teams when it's an opportunity to actually win a round.
So taking the risks, and they have enabled themselves a 3-on-3. Fugly is alone here. Needs to hold down with the first frag, but he won't get it. It's going to be NiP with that bomb planting on B, but still a chance here. Lige and Adren coming in from the front of the bomb site. Freiburg has heard them.
One flashbang in hand. It's got to work. They've got to make this flash work for them. It's all they've got going. Freiburg going to try and get a cheeky plant down here. Great positioning from Forest. They know exactly what's going on here.
He's just going to make sure his back is covered as well. And that bomb can go down as the cover is there. And Forest, excellent cover indeed, is going to pick up the kills. And it will be another round for the Swedes. 12-1.
Yeah, it's so difficult for Liquid now. Look at this horrible position, and they need the last 2 rounds, and they've got no money to play with. Do they eke? Oh no, another forced famous buy here. You can see they have got some utility to play with here, a couple of flashes, but and CT, like, you want to get the rounds rolling, you want to have the Molotovs, you want to be able to hold them off and stifle the Ts and control the play, but it's just going to be more of the same here. They've got 2 AWPs now. They'll just be able to just have an absolute field day here, walking the bomb sites, entry frags all over the place. It's going to be very difficult to get out of this situation. And
strangely, actually, it does actually exist with the secondary AWP, and Nitro cheekily picking up a kill, going in for the AK, does pick up another frag with it as well. So that puts us to a 2-on-2 situation. We just had a very similar one in the previous round on this bomb site, but this time we have a nice position from Lige. He's up in the upper dark area. He's smoked off, but I think that will go away relatively soon, and he can move in.
He better hope so. He's got to get a move on. 1 kit between them, so if Lige does go down, and there we go. Great frag from him. This is a chance now. All on exists with his AWP, not known for his AWPing skills.
Absolutely not. Usually you'd see Forrest as a secondary AWP going to miss the first shot, but he's got the Tech 9, and looks like he picks up both kills with the Tech 9.
That is a nail in the coffin, I think.
I think that was like a preemptive report going on to exist there.
Absolutely. Well, there we go. I think that sums up this game quite a lot. 2-on-1 situation, and he didn't even have to use his main weapon. He used a Tech 9, which obviously is a little bit OP, but he shouldn't be able to win those situations when he's even not in the bomb side. So, last round here, another forced buy from Liquid. I think they just want to forget about this map as quickly as possible. There's no real way to get back into this. Again, pushing short, working for them. If they'd have done more of this in the gun rounds, it could have been a different story. But Freiberg cleaning them up. And here we go, 3-on-3 situation.
Yeah, Flowstick could cause some problems, just a few, as he does take down Freiberg with the 5-7. However, the push is going to barrel through him, as we see Nitro and Fugly left. So they might be able to pick up another round. Again, another 2-on-2 situation, this time on the bomb site, the A bomb site rather, as Fugly's getting delayed a little bit here by Forrest. Bomb is now down. But these Liquid players are quite close now, knocking on the door, but it's going to be Ali who answers with the AWP, removes Nitro from the map, and it's just Fugly left. They know exactly where he is, and you can see Forrest is waiting there. He wanted to play the kind of peekaboo game, but he is not going to be able to be successful this time, as Ali is now in pit, left with it all to do, but
this is the play.
Perfect position, but he's got caught just moving around, so kind of strange that I guess he was questioning whether what the plant was.
I guess, yeah, when the smoke comes down, for me, whenever I'm playing that situation, this is an instant panic. You think, oh god, especially when you've got the AWP, you think, I am in a horrible position, I can't spam it, I'm going to have to try and make some sort of assertive move. That's what he tried to do. Good play from Fugly in the end, got himself another round. And if they get the pistol here, it's not completely over, but they have got an absolute mountain to climb here. And it'd be interesting to see how they approach the pistol round. Will they be utilising these B spawns they've got? I don't think they're going to go for more methodical, no Glock train today.
Yeah, 2 smokes and 4 flashes for Liquid. And NiP all armors, apart from Freiberg, they want to fight. That's a fighting decision there. They want to get all the Angels in. And you can understand why. And Freiberg, he wants to get himself on the board immediately here, pushing quite close.
Look at this intel he's getting though. Like, this is what Liquid weren't doing. He's got information. They're not long. So this is like instantly you can see the CTs can react to this straight away. Like, there's not going to be an A split. They can see CTs moving now, adjusting to this, and this is why NiP are such a world-class team compared to what Liquid were doing before. They weren't getting this intel.
And they can play a pretty decent retake game on A as well, again, as they have 2 players on long and just 1 on crossover. But it's going to be the B split. In comes Lige, first man, spamming that Glock away. Won't be successful. Pistol, Jesus, Forrest coming in with 2 quick kills on the defense. And now it's going to be up to Nitro against 3 members of NiP. And that is going to be Forrest with an excellent round, 4 kills to his name. And that's 24 in total.
It doesn't even matter what tactic you run when Forrest is like playing like that. And he's getting 4 frags from door and like just running around. And he saw Nitro kind of whiffed a little bit in his back there, could have taken him down. But yeah, that's why he's the pistol master, and that's going to force Team Liquid into a horrible little situation. They haven't actually opted for the Tech 9s here. They've gone for armor and PT50s. For me, that's not really going to do much for them. NiP playing smart here and actually opting for rifles primarily, and I think that's a very wise choice. And keep it long range and actually just mow down the T's if they can.
And Forrest only got 1 on the spray, but they had 2 on the angle. Exist not getting much either. Somehow, just through that choke point, they're going to be successful, and it's going to be the frag onto Exist finally as Getright comes in to just remove their numbers, and they won't get the bomb planted. It looked kind of good despite the fact that Exist and Forrest were in perfect positions, but so they do fall in the end. And indeed you can see how well Forrest is doing in this game so far. Well,
here comes the last plea. The scout is out. No armor, scout, 15-2. You kind of think you know which way this game is going. Well, this map, sorry. We still have Inferno to come after this, but Liquid still have little to no chance of getting this round, I think. Like, it's going to be a massive mistake from NiP if they drop this one.
Okay, well, NiP have pretty good positions defensively at the moment. They just have Forrest spotting into middle to see what information he can get, just to call any presence on Catwalk. But he's actually, he does have support in Exist. He's close to the B doors, so he's not out here alone. It could look like he's a little bit exposed, but he does have that support. It's only really the long man who is alone at the moment for NiP, and I think that's Freiberg, and he's got himself an MP7. So far NiP playing this safe. They're on map point at the moment.
Yep.
And the A push is soon to come in, it would seem. But Liquid can also still go for the cat drop, depending on what happens. But it's going to be a trade. Here we go. Nitro going to look for his entries here, but they are getting thinned out as they try to go for this push. Before they've even hit the site, they've lost 2 players. Alu now playing with him, toying with them behind that box. And that's going to be it. 16-2. Final score on Dust2 for the first game here of Gfinity Masters. And NiP, a team that sometimes are slow to start. Well, today,
firing all cylinders straight away, straight out the bat there. So for me, like Liquid just didn't take control of CT. They knew the weaker team here. They need to be locking down the mentality of Ninjas in Pajamas. We know they work the map, they look for where the opportunities are, and they take them. They don't necessarily, we know they do that big A execution, but they didn't even have to run that time. They didn't even have to go into those full sets pieces. They save them for the rest of later in the tournament. They just need to walk into positions, give the call up, okay guys, we've had no opposition here in middle, we've had no opposition here in short, and Liquid weren't really adjusting to it. It's only when they were force buying on Famises, they were actually playing short. They got a couple of kills, and I think the one round they actually won, that's when they they got 2 rounds, but the first gun round they won was actually when they pushed on short and actually stopped that that method NiP employ where they kind of feel the map out.
Exactly. It felt like the only success we saw from Liquid on their CT side was in the gimmicks, more or less. The Hail Marys, basically. That was where they got their 3-on-3 situations, and the thing that's weird is that in that case it seems like their fundamentals just aren't strong enough. They don't have a good enough or a solid enough CT side to fall back onto, and we saw the very defensive plays from them. This is kind of popular in the meta game at the moment. You see teams like TSM are able to run this very well, Envious as well, this kind of a 2-3 setup where you kind of let them take catwalk, and then you just are very good at defending the pushes, and they kind of, you let them go for the short plants and stuff like this. But Liquid didn't seem to have the routine, or perhaps it's just some of the European metagame just throwing them off a little bit. Yeah,
there was just no response. Like, there was no pincer to the retake. They were all coming from CT spawn and long, and although some of the retakes were close and there were a couple of clutch moments, it was just ultimately, like, even if they had won those, I feel the result would have been very similar. We saw NiP not really having to employ anything too technical. Like, we saw them, I think it was on the first gun round, they just walked through a smoke into B. Like, there was no real tactic employed. It was just, let's go in. Forest got 2 1-taps, and then that was it. It was very difficult for them to ever get back into it. The economy was absolutely ruined for Liquid throughout the game. I think they tried to save an orb 3 or 4 times. They had to eco with the orb, and the orb getting picked with AK straight away, and I think it was very difficult for them to get into the game. Saying that, it's the first game of the tournament, the first time they've been in the booths. It's a map we know NiP, one of the world's best on, fits their playstyle perfectly. And I think Inferno is going to be a map where Liquid can come into their own a little bit more. You have more time to kind of work out what the T's are doing. The T's have to work harder to get into the bomb sites. They can't just walk around as a wolf pack lurking so much. They have to kind of execute properly with smokes. They have to get the mid control, push the CTs back, and then they have to go into the execution. So I feel Liquid, if they get a CT start here, they could potentially do a lot better than they did there. God knows they need to. So that's one map in favour of NiP, and now I think we're ready to jump into Inferno. Yeah, we've got a little bit of filling to do.
Well, I guess we'll get a word from production momentarily, but another point I want to make as well is that when I'm looking at a match like that, I'm always thinking, okay, what does it look like when you get the best team, let's say Fnatic against an NiP on a map like that? Because usually what you'll see is the double ops coming in from both teams on both sides.
Absolutely.
Always 4 ops when all the teams have the money to do it. And we saw that even Adren, when he was AWPing, because that's kind of the first stage, okay, we get our first AWPer online. Did you see him make any impact of that AWP whatsoever?
Exactly, where was the impact? Like, a CT, if like your setups aren't working, take 2 AWPs, get 1 in B, lock down the B bomb site, have some presence in middle, and then you can work that retake setup, because you get the first pick with your AWP on your AWP on A. You can control those people walking up short and planting without anything happening.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's what they need. They needed to get that intel and at least be getting a frag before they can plant. So.
But instead, we saw the riskier play where he's going for the Angels instead of just sitting on crossover defensively. So it's almost cognitive dissonance to the setup and how the AWP was played. All right, guys, so we will have a very quick break before we get into the next map, which will be Inferno here for the Gfinity Masters, NiP versus Liquid. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Get down.
All right, folks, welcome back to London, England, Gfinity Arena. I'm Sir Scoots, Thorin, Richard Lewis. They gave us chairs because they thought I was too short, so I like it.
That's not why. It's in his contract that he can't stand up for more than 10 minutes at a time.
I get a little old. My cane. So let's talk about it. Obviously, you both predicted the winner, but I don't think either of you thought it was going to be that drastic. 16-2.
Especially if you're starting on CT side, like Liquid did. You're supposed to get, I mean, even an 8-7 half's a bad half on Dust 2 on CT side. So this was an utterly terrible performance by them. Almost no one showed up for them, you know. Even the frags they got. Okay, so Elijah was top fragging for them. It's hard to remember a round he won for them, you know. Like, actually, Fugly was one of the guys who was bomb fragging. I kind of mentioned him as like an impact player. He won a round by himself, like 1-1v2. I think Liquid just looked utterly terrible in this. It's not even that NiP was in ultra-dominant form. Forrest got one of the easiest 25 frags I've seen in a long time. He wasn't like doing highlight kills everywhere. It was just easy for him to pick them up. Liquid couldn't kind of put any resistance up.
I mean, there was some clear communication problems as well. You know, the rotates were a bit slack. There were moments where they were looking at each other like they were almost surprised when they bumped into each other on the map. I mean, that's the level of communication here. You could see from looking in the booths, there wasn't a lot of activity. There didn't look to be any signs of life there. Their heads went right down once NiP got to 5-0.
Well, just look at the last round of the first half, the one they won, actually, where Fugly won the 1v2. That was initially a 2v2. They were fine. Like, Nitro retweeted to the spawn. He was waiting for Fugly to, like, give me the signal when to go. And then Fugly got Molotov'd off. Now, there's only 2 people alive there. You have a coach behind you. That's a simple comms, like, wait for the Molotov to finish, then we'll go in. And Nitro just went in by himself and got killed easily. So if Fugly hadn't pulled that out of the fire, kind of metaphorically, that would have been a very easy round win for NiP with a 2v1 there, whereas they should have had a chance at it, at least if they'd just commed properly. So I wonder if what comms were going on there. And the thing is, when you look at this game, okay, the casters were mentioning this, but one of the flaws I've noticed in Liquid is that Adren buys the AWP anytime he can get it, okay? Anytime it's available, he buys it. And yet, like in this game here, sometimes he'll buy 3, 4, 5 AWPs and never do anything with it. Doesn't have any impact.
I was going to say,
that's a massive economical task on your team, you know.
This is Dust 2, all right, where an AWP should have an impact. Yeah. Like, even if you're a very average AWPer, you're going to get opportunities as T and as CT to do damage with, especially, you know, as T, because CTs need to cross. Where's your tags at? You know, it was really, really poor, and that AWP didn't come into play at all. Like you said, massive financial drain for no gain whatsoever. So, I mean, you know, maybe we're supposed to be fair and balanced, although that's not how we roll up here. But there is literally nothing good to say about that performance from Team Liquid. Like, not one thing. And they've just got to forget about it when they go into Inferno. You know, this can only be better for them because that is rock bottom.
Now, I stepped away for a few minutes to do some photo shoots. Quick question, though.
So glamorous.
And you guys were kind of there, too. So I'm just wondering, did they call a timeout? Because, again, remember, teams are allowed to have a timeout. And I don't think they did. That's the kind of thing where Liquid should call a timeout halfway through that first round.
What are you going to discuss in a timeout there, Scott?
No, but again, just kind of that calm and rework it, you know?
Yeah, but what are they going to say? Well, you know, none of us can hit the side of a barn, right? So that's good, okay, right? So what about our tactics? Yeah, there's no communications. Are we even talking to each other? No. Seriously, that is like ground zero, like in terms of a performance there. It's just there's just nothing left. There's nothing to even build on. So you've got to be like, okay, next map. Yeah. That's literally, someone must have made that call I guess if they did make that call quite early, save our energy, next map. Fair enough.
Yeah, and maybe that's exactly it.
But
like, why waste the time on a timeout?
Yeah, but that was just. I'm really surprised because, you know, I thought I was maybe being a little bit harsh saying 16-6. Yeah. But in actual fact, I mean, 16-6 would have been something to talk about.
All right, well, let's talk about the next map.
Yeah.
Obviously, very, very ninja in pajamas, heavy Dust 2. Let's talk about Inferno. Again, this is also Liquid's choice. So,
I mean, it's their choice. In theory, it's one of their better maps. The maps that they usually bill as their best is Mirage and Inferno. So they've got a chance now, whatever happened on Dust 2, to play one of their best maps. The problem I see for them is, if they start on T side on this map, I think it'd be over already. It could be over in the first half. Yeah. NiP could just roll them completely. NiP can have a very good, strong CT side, whereas at the moment, it's the tactics that you see an issue with from the Liquid guys. Where are they?
Yeah. So, again, no change in your predictions? 2-0 still, right, obviously?
No, I think Team Liquid need to realise that what they're playing with here now is they're playing for pride. They need to just have a good showing on this map. So, you know, they've got a huge, tough group. We've said they're going to struggle to beat anyone in this group, in my opinion. And I think they just need to be trying to get settled, get ready for the later games where they're going to have a better chance because they're clearly outclassed here.
And the issue here for them is they maybe have to put up some kind of good performance here on Inferno, because otherwise they might end up just playing it again and again. You know, no one's going to ban Inferno against them if they get utterly smashed by NiP on it, you know.
All right. Thank you, guys. Again, I'm staring at these two incredibly sexy men. Holy crap. Although,
Fake Tan does do a lot.
You got to get rid of that top button, Henry G. Again, Henry G, DDK, take it away.
All right, thank you very much, Scott. So we are back to witness map number 2 here in Inferno. And again, I think those guys covered it fairly well.
Yeah.
We were also discussing it off camera a bit as well.
I think I echo those sentiments completely. I think if they have any chance here, they need to start CT. The knife round has never been more important for them. They need, like Richard said, I think they're almost playing for pride here. They can't have another battering like that, 16-2. Like on a tournament this scale, when you're representing a team such as just prestigious as Liquid, you need to be having a better showing than that. Like for me, it was slightly embarrassing. They never really turned up for the game at all. And I think Inferno, like I said before, is definitely a map they can get their teeth into and kind of string some rounds together, at least get some momentum to get at least 2 or 3. But yeah, like I said, they need the CT start here to even have a look in, I think. If we have another CT side like that, we're going to be in for a shocker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, we saw what NiP did to TSM recently. Of course, that was it felt like a little bit of a one-off, potentially, just a 16-1 TSM. Yeah. But it does show you what NiP is capable of, and what we saw in the previous match, which is why NiP doesn't really tend to lose to lesser teams, which some teams do. Their fundamentals are just amazing for them to fall back onto.
You would hope team like Liquid, though, they've had time since that LAN to analyse these demos. They know what the groups are. If I was in their position, I would have done my homework. I would have seen what made them so dominant on maps like Inferno, and I would be looking to counter. I'd at least have, as a leader, I'd have the intel to take them on and actually be able to exploit some of their weaknesses. Every team has a weakness on the map somewhere. Right. So here we go. The knife round is taking place. I know we normally say we don't cast them, but NiP has absolutely decimated it, and it's going to be a case of them getting CT first here, and that is exactly what Liquid did not want, and it's going to be all down to the pistol, I think. If they lose a pistol here again and get down to 5-0, it's going to be more of the same. They really need to wake up and start hitting to their shots. We know they can be quite a tactical team. They've got a lot of set pieces in their arsenal. I'd like to see that from them. I think they'll have an opportunity to do that this side on Inferno. I think it's a great place to demonstrate the Molotov knowledge and getting the smokes and demonstrating fakes. But they need to get map control. You can't control this map. You can't play it without getting a middle first or pushing the CTs back to position. You need to knock that intel off them, otherwise they're going to get red like a book. NiP are the best in the business at reading the game. So
here we go. NiP and Liquid, map number 2. NiP are on quite a tear after that first map, but we are going to see what they can find so far. And that's nice, actually. That's a really smart move by Liquid. They're going to cut off the potential early picks on the long ranges, which is what NiP were playing for. Now they have to fall far back, as we can see them doing. And Liquid slowly edging their way up middle, looking to get that A execute going, just splitting in onto that site, wrapping around. Freiburg's there, over by Speedway. He's going to get eliminated. And we have Alu getting dropped as well. Good stuff here from Elise. Forest is just so bold, standing there, but he's only going to get 1 kill. However, Liquid down to just 1 man again. Nitro will be picking up the USP. And that bomb is going to go to him as well. So he's got lots of time to play with, and that B bomb site is indeed going to be used by him. So Exist and Get Right, they just have to play for trades here and see what they can figure out.
It looks like he's almost playing against himself here. Obviously not aware there's no CTs there, but this could slow him down. CTs are going to catch on any second, and here we go. He's actually going to get a nice clean plant down. Where he positions himself now is going to determine how this round plays out.
So the rotation will come in. Nitro is going to have to hit some really good shots.
I like
here.
this though. It looks like he's planting for coils, but he's actually positioned himself on the left-hand side there. I think this could work quite nicely for him. It could go in his favour.
That element of surprise is going to be so important. He's going to have to capitalise with a quick kill on the first player as they do avail themselves to him. Nitro from the back, going to get spotted. Needs to get the fast kill, but he won't get the frag onto Get Right. Oh, and there's just barely enough time, I think. It's very close, and he's going to get it. And wow, if Nitro had picked up that kill, that's it. That round is over.
As being reported as one of the best fraggers in the NA scene right now, for me, he should be hitting that kind of shot. It was
Absolutely.
in his favour. Like he could hear the CT coming. Need to be landing those shots.
He wasn't even looking his way to begin with, in fact.
So unfortunately, they could have gone either way, but unfortunately didn't land that first shot. The bomb would have definitely blown up. He just made that 1 kill. So unlucky for him, but here we go. That horrible start we were hoping we wouldn't see. We want to see this be competitive at least. So we can see NiP opting for the new kind of meta of SMGs being played around the map. It works very nicely at positions like Banana. You can see Get Right and has actually got the M4, so he'll be playing off Freiburg, I guess, kind of baiting him in, trying to get him in positions where the T's run past him.
Now, they did get the bomb down, so they are looking for that buy on the next round. Here we go, going to get flashed up into middle. Nitro making his way around. Bomb will go down. They've spotted everything. NiP, they are getting all the money in the bank here. Alu picking up 1,200 there for those 2 kills, and that's going to really be nice to get that faster AWP on the way.
Yeah, well, we didn't see the T's actually opt for any head armor then, so we're going to presumably going to see an AK buy being brought out next round. So quite clever play from NiP to get a couple of rifles in their arsenal. They know they're going to be up against that next round, but they don't want to drop any kills here. I think Adrena's going to be looking for anything he can get. Not going to find it. We're going to have a look at the economy quickly of the terrorists and see, yeah, that this should be an AK buy coming in. And see, it'd be interesting to see how NiP react to this. Will they kind of keep the MP7s in play? I personally would. I like to take the risk and kind of build up the economy, and kind of it's definitely a viable gun still. So there you go. 3 MP7s in hand. It'd be interesting to see whether they actually go for a slightly aggressive play here, go for the frag. They know the rifle's going to be in hand of Liquid here.
Yeah, they have so much money. I think some teams would opt for that tech line buy in the previous round, just to deny the money from building for the CT side, because it gets so dangerous once all these incendiaries come into play. And a team like NiP is indeed quite troublesome, but I think there is an issue there. We had a player frozen, and Freiburg's going to pick up a couple kills, and that is certainly going to be a really nice start here for NiP in this round, but probably would expect the pause to come in or something, as it
was he frozen now or flashbanged?
It looked like he was kind of frozen. I'm not sure. Either way, we will continue on regardless. And we've got Flowsick and Adren left over now. They've got no map control. Where do they go from here?
They save the AKs, like you're up against the MP7s, but getting into these bomb sites. They have got a couple of smokes and flashes between them. Their best bet would be smoking off spawn, smoking off coils. But with the positions NiP have got here, very advantageous. They're just going to be picky at the frags here. We can see Flowsick left in 40 seconds on the clock, no bomb in her hand, and 3 ninjas in pyjamas against it. You do very well. My recommendation would be to save. He's going to get pincered here very badly.
Yeah, I actually almost think, considering the situation with the SMGs and the fact that Liquid are the team that are on paper going to lose this every time, I feel like they should have gone for, after that bomb plant. I feel like the the full buy on the next round with Tech 9 armor and nades, if they've got like a set play to run, that would be like a really nice option for them to just swing, to basically money screw NiP straight away, and then swing the economy massively in their favor, and keep NiP away from having full grenades, because we know when NiP gets the money going, they are going to, again, that you expect them to win the Angel, so you need to find an advantage somewhere, and that could have been them finding the advantage on the economy by taking a big risk. However, we are going to have a Pawson D, so potentially I think it was a Liege who was a bit frozen there. So
that's unfortunate. Like, I think they probably would have had that frag on Freiburg. They were playing it technically correct. They had the AKs. They weren't committing too much to Banana there. They were waiting for the CTs to make their mistake. For me, that mistake was pushing out the MP7. Though he was never going to win that battle, I think, if the Liege had been there. The flashes didn't seem to get them, and it's very unfortunate for them. I think this is just sums up their game so far. The chance they actually had to get back into the round, they got locked down by something going wrong, like a crash. But looking at the economy now, we can see the T's have got little to nothing to play with. I think they'll have to go for a full eco here and go for that 5-0. And we saw them in that situation last game, and we know how that panned out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And this is worst case basically, because this can swing into your favor somehow. Well, because this map is an interesting one. If you're assuming that both teams are of equal skill, and you're going into an Inferno, if the T's are able to actually deny money for the CT, so they can't ever have either full smokes or ever really incendiaries, then it actually can swing into the T's favor. If they play the rounds correctly and you play like a really drawn out rounds where you properly bait out grenades, then you can have a situation where they will be able to defend with no grenades when the push comes in eventually. That's
the whole idea of Inferno. You want to kind of bait out those grenades from the counter-terrorist. Like, that's their strongest weapon, being able to smoke off the choke points so effectively, especially on Banana. You can lock T's out for a good 20 seconds there. And if you can keep doing that and run the time down, that's when you've got a real problem. So the T's objective is to take that utility off the CTs before they even do anything. That's why you can't just go straight into a Banana take straight off the bat. Even if you get the Banana control, you're going to get locked down by the Molotovs and the smokes coming straight in, and then a barrage of flashbangs. So the idea for me, they need to be taking mid control, showing their presence, smoking off one of the areas, clearing out quad, for example, and then looks like we're actually going to be replaying the round. That's very nice.
That's good. Yeah.
So that's good. I like to see that being happened. So I think that round could have panned out very differently. I don't think NiP would have had that kind of freedom on Banana, like Freiburg running out top of B with MP7 and killing 3 people, I think it was. I don't think that normally happens. But yeah, we got I think about 1 minute while we're just sorting the server out. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see. So obviously everything we said about the economy right now has been made redundant. So we're going to be reassessing that. And
well, I mean, to be honest, the way NiP will probably play this, because it tends to, like, the Banana control tends to be the thing that is mixed up the most with a lot of teams, because you can get a lot of edges against specific teams. NiP against Fnatic, for example, usually play very, very defensive on Banana. They don't take as many Angel situations, whereas I would expect them to get very aggressive here, push Freiburg down, and just have him just sitting there.
When you know they have the AK though, that's your best tactic. The element of surprise, and you have the MP7, the run and gun. You want to just be flashing them and kind of catching them with their pants down a little bit. That's when you want to be taking advantage of that. So that's why I think they were going for. But obviously, the T's were actually playing that quite well. They were very far back and working out what the NiP were doing. We didn't see that on the last map. So here we go. We're back in to the action, and let's see how this pans out.
Okay, so we're getting another go of this one. Are we going to see the same approach from NiP? They're much more defensive, actually, with Freiburg there. In fact, no, here comes the flash out. I was wrong. And it's going to just pre-fire the player boosted on the plant pot to look over the smoke. So NiP are wise to the games of Liquid at the moment.
I think they just want to get out at this point. Like, Freiburg's lucky to still be alive, and they want to fall back to the bomb sites and utilise the small cubby holes and stuff of these MP7s. They're going to do well to make any frags up for these smoke goes.
And Freiburg still has a smoke to go as well, so he's going to be able to delay this until like 30 seconds before they can, unless they want to flash through the smoke, until they can push Banana. So, and they're actually keeping another player behind Freiburg, so they're kind of banking on Liquid going for the push through the smoke here. As usually you would do this kind of play to allow a one-man defense on Banana, have a 4-man defense on Ace. So interesting stuff from NiP.
As long as Liquid play this properly and work kill for kill, staying as a unit, they shouldn't have a problem here. They've got the gun advantage, and they look, by the looks of it, the health advantage as well. Freiburg being quite hurt there. So it's just kind of like they've got this mid control as well. This is so important. Now they need to decide how they're going to approach the rest of the round. Very little time remaining, 20 seconds on the clock. Yeah,
they're going to have to make it happen now. Lee's just going to wrap around the side here from Library into the A-bomb side as they come in from quad at the same time. Good coordination here from Liquid. Is picking them up the kills, and they get the player on pit. It was actually Exist in this instance, as Freiberg has now made his way very quickly up on the flank, but he will get taken down as well, just leaving Get Right alone over by the Library side of things. He's not going to find much just yet, though. Needs to work out where both of these players is actually standing at the moment. And we'll spot the first head. He knows where the second one is. Can Get Right get the clutch here? There's the second player. Excellent stuff there from Get Right. He will get the defuse to boot. And NiP will secure the round, but this time it was much more costly than before.
I'm not even sure that was great stuff from Get Right. Like, I know that Liquid are trying to do quite a cheesy setup where you play both film side. The idea is that he kills one of you and he assumes that no one else is going to be there, but the fact they both got spotted before anything happened, that player in the corner needed to stay hidden. He got spotted straight away. He needed to stay in that cubby hole. And
he's peeking there.
Yeah, so that setup fundamentally doesn't work if you're peeking. Like, if you're going to play cheese, make sure you keep it in that fashion.
But hold that thought. We do have the push coming down middle. They are just going to go for it. And we do actually have a force up from Liquid. They got the bomb down and they've planted everything. They want to destabilize the economy, but it's going to be NiP who are actually holding on very well at the moment. They've only lost a single player in such an aggressive movement down middle. And Fugly and Flowstick, they need to pick up a couple kills here to make this investment worthwhile.
Yeah, I don't think this investment is going to be paying dividends whatsoever. They got completely locked down. Perfect play from NiP there. Just when Liquid thought they were reading them and getting some sort of map control, getting the bombs down, they just chucked a push straight at them, and that completely locked them down. And look at them, they're just completely on the back foot here. What are they going to do from this position? Bomb is down in the bottom of the middle. NiP know exactly where it is. They got vision on it from Banana. I mean, it's got Fugly here with Desert Eagle, smoked off. Like, he's got no chance really. Flowstick, not really doing anything in that position. NiP, if they play this sensibly, they're not going to push. They don't need to push. It's them who need to plant the bomb.
And Fugly is going to finally try to take some peeks, get himself a cheeky 1D, but it's not. Oof. Oh, there it is. He's actually able to pick up a kill onto Freiberg after all, and they have reclaimed the bomb. So some damage has been done, and 30 seconds are left, and they're going to be moving into the site, which only has one player. It's Alu. He's got 8 points of health. This could actually happen here, but Alu picks up the first headshot. In comes the second player for the trade. Fugly has to sprint to the bomb site now to get that bomb planted. The smoke is there. Oh, he gets tagged going through the smoke here, and it's going to be dissipating as Get Right just goes straight for it with a pistol, and he will end the life of Fugly. But a little bit of extra damage done.
Yeah, I feel like, for me, Freiberg overcommitted to that completely. Like I said, the T's had to get the bomb down there, and Freiberg gave his frag away to a Desert Eagle. Like, that's all the T's were looking for, a pick back into the game. He gave it to them, and that almost was a very difficult situation. Left Alu there on 8 HP. That could have gone either way. If they had got that frag at the top, it would have been very difficult to retake. But there we go. It's unfolded in the favour of NiP yet again, and we can see another force buy almost here from Liquid.
Okay, Forest with a quick pick there. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this guy is so confident. Gets another one, and that should never happen. Forest gonna make it a 3-on-2 now with the frags coming back over towards Banana. Nitro picking up some kills to equalize the situation a little bit, and NiP, they're in a bit of an awkward spot now because Alicia and Nitro can recover this bomb and they can put it in a good position, but here comes Exist.
This is the same situation they're in last round, pretty much. Two guys looking for a pick. Will NiP give them an entrance into the round? Exist here. Oh, I love this. I love this.
Oh no. Someone should be playing the Jaws music right now because here comes Exist. And he's going to pick up one frag, spots the second player, and now NiP know what's going on. And that's so important for them in this kind of a situation. So, Nitro up into middle now. Going to have himself a very important one-on-one against none other than Forest himself over by Pitt. He's really made a name for himself in that position. And Nitro's going to be playing the apartments.
He hasn't really got anything to work with.
Oh, wow!
As I say that, he rips off the head of Forest. I was going to say he had no utility to even get out, but Forest kind of gifted him with the kill there almost.
Corner moving out of position, and Nitro already with the quad kill. He's got his back towards quad, turns with the nade still in his hand, and unfortunately that clutch will not make it all the way, but again, a lot of damage. But the thing is that, I mean, they're not winning the rounds. Like, sure, they're getting some kills, but it seems also to be relying on these kind of awkward, weird situations, not through the value of just their standard straight-up plays.
Yeah, you can see like the observer there pointing out all the rounds have been very close. It has come down to two on zeros and like bombs going, diffuse and stuff. But for me, that doesn't really paint the picture of those matches so far. I think NiP have
What is this?
Oh, the auto sniper is coming out with Exist. That is a risky play to say the least. And Adren finally making some impact with the Orb Blitz tournament. I think that's the first real play we've seen from him actually doing something beneficial with that. And whether they can actually capitalise on this and bring that to convert it to a round victory will be something we'll have to see.
And it does feel like a little bit of a troll move there from Exist, who is a massive troll, by the way. Bring out the auto sniper, something you definitely don't expect, especially up middle like that. And you can see the AWP was more than enough to take control of the situation from Adren. Now, we have the apartments movement from Liquid as they take map control slowly but surely. They don't have Banana still, though.
Well, this is what they need to do. They need to flush out these areas of map, push the CTs back onto the bomb site, and then they know they've peeled a player off from somewhere. They've got to pick. So work out what setup they're doing. If you push them all back to the bomb site, presumably the CTs have to play 3 people on that area. Go back to Banana, and this is what they're doing now. They're ascertaining where the players are. Perfect play. There we go. Got the pick, and now the round is completely in their favour.
Oh, but Forest over the top, able to pick up the frag on a flow stick. But Liquid still with loads of bodies towards the library side. But in comes Getright and Freiburg on the rotation, just picking them all off, leaving it all up to Elige, who will get taken down as Getright finishes him off. So excellent movement from Getright through quad there.
I feel like that was so forced. They get those picks. They've got the round advantage 2-5, and they're rushing into a position. They could have carried on that methodology of just working around, getting the pick, staying as a unit, getting frag for frag. But instead they opted to just go hard, just rush around and see what happens. And then completely shut down by the CT setup that was being there for the last 30 seconds. So great start from them, great approach to the map. But the execution towards the end of the round just wasn't there. They need to slow it down when you get in those kind of positions.
Yeah, I mean they were 5 on 3.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
Play the trades, right?
Unbelievable. You got to just slow it down. The round's yours. It's yours to lose.
Okay, so we have a 2-man setup towards the arch side here for NiP at the moment. They've got Freiburg moving and getting a kill through the smoke. It's going to be NiP picking up a fast advantage this time, but they're going to flash through, and they were waiting for this. Freiburg still has support there, switching around with the spray. Only gets 1 extra frag, though, as Getright falls back, but it's been spotted, and the rotation does commence now for the Swedes. They have back up towards the B-bomb site, a floater in Exist, who is on Speedway at the moment, and Forest just chilling over by the pit position. So NiP still with full control of the round. It's going to have to be some incredible entries here from Liquid, and here it comes. Alu is ready to receive the push, spots the first player. In they come now, and he does get 1, and that's all he needs to do. Good job there by Alu. And Flowsick against the world with the bomb in hand. Going to try to fake out a player. Does predict Getright's position. Excellent stuff. Flowsick with a double, and that's going to give him the breathing room now to get the bomb down. Forest against Flowsick, and he knows it. Working on the ace. Oh, he won't get it. It's going to be Forest to eliminate Flowsick and save the round for NiP. And that's another almost 5-man. And that's what it takes for Liquid to win a round.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to say, that same thing. Like, if that's what it takes for Liquid to win a round, someone to get an ace, then they're playing the wrong game, I'm afraid. They need to start working together and making sure, like, for me, like, I'm not really sure the position Alu was playing, why he was kind of committing himself to that. Why not wait for the T's to come in and just kill them in the crossfire like they had set up? But there we go, they won the round, so and the P90 had been brought out by Exist. Talk about being a troll there.
Yeah, this guy is full on troll mode. Although the P90, I've been seeing more and more of that actually in buy rounds.
Absolutely, but opting for it over an M4, I think is another kettle official together. But here we go, let's see how this pans out for them. We can see Liquid going for this mid control again. If they can do what they did last time, push the CTs right back to the bomb site, that's when you need to start doing another move. Like, if you go through spawn and go back to Banana, kind of choose something else to do. You want to kind of keep them guessing, not wrap around like they're setting up, like they've set up for you.
And this time, Freiburg is alone on Banana. They've shown the 2-man behind what should have been just 1-man before, so now they maybe are conditioning Liquid to think, hey, we can't really go for this now.
Here we go. So like I said, Liquid, NiP have no information on middle. This is perfect from Liquid. They've pushed the CTs back, and now they're waiting for this smoke to go. And as long as they get this frag on Freiburg, they're going to get absolutely owned. They should be fine, which is good. Like, they've got the frag for frag there, and the map is in it. This round is in their favour right now.
But they might not expect Getright. In fact, they don't. The flash comes in. Getright's going to see all of them. They line up for Getright. 3 kills with the M4, and that's exactly how it's done. And you have to credit Getright. That's a very sneaky position, and then they never are going to check there. They think, okay, we've got the guy.
Yeah,
we've got the guy on Banana.
Fantastic read from him, and like, what can you do? If you're not going to check positions, you've only got yourself to blame when you get mowed down, 4-man in the back. But that was, again, it was a good start from Liquid. They kind of forced the CTs back. It's just their final execution is lacking. They're not, like a simple thing like checking a position, it shouldn't be the reason why you're losing a round.
And they're going to go for a fast push here, changing up the pace, trying to get themselves up on top of Freiburg, but he's going to move in aggressively through the flashbang. However, Elish is able to defend, leaving Getright alone. And of course, Getright can smoke them off now, and Banana is kind of, well, the B site itself is closed, but they have Banana control, so they've taken a frag. Sure, they've sustained damage in Nitro and Adren, but this could turn into something good here for Liquid.
Again, they seem to be getting the advantage at the beginning of almost every gun round, and it's just they're not capitalizing on it. So let's hope they slow it down now. They have got low HP on Adren and Nitro, but all they need to do is just go in with the high HPers, work out where the players are playing, and just go frag for frag. The CTs can't really be stacked anywhere. They have to kind of spread themselves out and holding the major choke points together.
Okay, so not rushing into anything, but there's now 45 seconds left, so they have to consider doing just that.
Looks like a set piece coming in now.
Oh no, Getright. Is he not? He's going to do it again. Surely not. This is a completely different situation to attempt this as well. And he's going to just challenge them straight up. He will only get 1 kill, but it's been confirmed now what's going on. Rotations commence. In comes Exist, but he's smoked off. Does get himself out of there though. But I think he took a player with him, and indeed, he won't go down though. Nitro falls back to the pool area. And back to the bomb site. But Exist is holding construction for his team. They're all in position to go for the take together. And flashing over his alley for his teammates to push through. There's Forest leading the push out of construction into the bomb site. That bomb ticking away. There's the old heat and poly setup. It's going to be Elish to take the frag onto Forest. There's now 2-on-2, but time is ticking away. Exist has to act quickly now. It's just Fugly left. Where on earth is he? Exist is wondering and looks at the plant. He knows. He knows, but has Fugly done enough? He has.
Good play. That was fair play to Liquid. That was a nice hold of the bomb site. They managed to get in properly, got the opening frag and didn't do anything too silly. For me, like they're going into that set piece before actually taking the banana control. Like that's why they lost that first frag, but they managed to exchange it quite nicely. And they played very well. Like you said, the hit and potty setup works very well in that situation. As long as you've got the communication and facing at the same times and dodging in and out, you should win that round 9 times out of 10, which they did. Converted it to a one-on-one, but they won the round. Here we go. They're off the rock.
It did feel like Getright actually took a pretty crazy risk there, as we've seen, you know, that kind of spot. It made a lot more sense the previous time when he attempted it, where they wouldn't expect a player to be hiding in that position, but this time...
It's interesting that NiP are even opting to do this. They don't need to be out there, especially when you're one player. You just want to be on the site getting the intel, playing like coils and falling back when your teammates are out. This is just showing no respect whatsoever. This kind of just playing however they want, like a 1-on-4 situation. They're not afraid at all.
But this time, this one-man setup on Banana will work out quite nicely for the Swedes. They've got 4 players on the A defense at the moment. But Liquid, they've not decided to move in just yet. But look, and where Exist has his reticle straight on that corner. Flowsick is...
This can only go one way, I think. Good idea, Flowsick. Move back.
So, not a lot of grenades left here for NiP to play with. There's 40 seconds left and they've just got some flashes. That's it. There's one flash over. They haven't confirmed yet what's going on. But in comes Liquid. They're going to do that for NiP. Alu's in a very committed position here. Can he get the kills that he needs to get? He gets nothing. Liquid off to a good start as Forest and Getright now coming with multiple frags, and somehow this is falling apart for Liquid. They had such a nice movement in, and it's going to be Nitro to pick up a frag to save it. Can he get a second one? Getright, no! Getright is making all the kills in this match, and you can see why potentially he would take that forward move onto Sandbag, because he's just killing everyone right now.
Yeah, I'm getting a bit bored of saying now that Liquid are having a great start to the round and then not converting it, but yet again, they managed to get that kill on Alu. But they keep wrapping around to the bomb site. Have they not learned that Getright and Forest are going to be waiting for them in that position? Like, they need to start taking advantage of the spawn area. Like, when you get those frags and the CTs are second guessing, move back, get people back to Banana, go through spawn, pins to the bomb site, potentially the one person that's waiting there. But they keep going wrapping around, and for me, that's just not working for them. They need to kind of reassess their strategy once they get that initial pick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this time it's going to be just down to the pistols. No armor, no nades. Just brute force, a couple Tech 9s, and just Glocks. So not much to really expect from this round, and NiP going to build a lot of nice economy from this one.
Wow.
And the funny thing is that they've, NiP been taking so many risks and not doing super well in a lot of them.
Not really. Like no one's been really like getting huge amounts. Like to say that, no one's getting like big spray downs or anything like that. It's just like they get 1 or 2 like get taken down, but like it's no one's playing out of their skin or anything like that.
I mean, they're giving opportunities to Liquid. Like their money's still like quite low because they're losing so many members from these aggressive plays they kind of don't need to do. So it tells you a lot, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we can see, we've got what kind of buy have we got here from Liquid. It'd be interesting to see if they kind of mix things up and get the AWP out again. I don't think they can afford to. Alu actually has opted for one though. How is he going to control the map of this? Be interesting to see him move around a bit more dynamically and picking people off of a surprise action.
It's actually pretty much an eco for NiP if they lose this round. So we'll have to see if Liquid can pick up an advantage. They're going to move into Freiburg, and he's defending well so far. Gets smoked off. They've got a 3rd player towards B at the moment, and now having it under control, they can float a player back. Oh my god!
On your head, son.
Ouch. Did he throw that from the back of the site? I think he did.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he did actually.
Where did it come from?
I think it came from the sandbags position. I thought it was Freiburg who threw that, but it was Exist. And Ali's going to be able to make some defensive shots here. And they are left with nothing but some risks to take. Big risk, big reward, that's what they need. And so far, they've got themselves mid-control. Going to take down Get Right on the flank. So they are turning this into something. And it's Fugly now trying to get the challenge and get that bomb reclaimed. Picks that one up now, goes for the challenge into Connector, but Freiburg will win it. 11-1 the score is Liquid getting dominated on Inferno by NiP so far.
Absolutely. It's just a mirror match of last map, sorry. They got 2 rounds in Dust 2. It looks like they might get 1 more potentially. There's another eco coming in from them. The economy from NiP, like you said, it would have been potentially an eco for them. That would have been a great chance to kind of get back into it. But now they're going to be another full eco, a couple of Deagle, some PT50s, and we're going to see this aggressive push from NiP again. And I think they're going to get absolutely rolled here.
Here we go, they're all going to cross into Alu's crosshairs there. We've got Forrest who's moved up towards bench, so easy defense. And they're just going for the deathmatch frags at the moment.
Mad.
Moving straight in for the kills. And yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, isn't it? Going to have Exist now just spraying them down as they exit the apartments through the balcony. And Alu with the last one, 12-1.
Very little respect coming out here. It's just Alu looks like he's having fun almost. He's playing in positions he wouldn't normally sit in.
Oh yeah.
Just facing in the open, running around with an AWP. Like when you think, oh, normally if I lose this AWP and give it to the guys with the Tech 9s, they might win this round. They didn't even seem to care. And he's got a great spawn here for middle as well. I predict he's probably going to get a pick here. He probably hasn't done this much this game.
He's going to go
he's going to go for the long from way downtown all the way around.
Here we go. Oh, I think he barely spotted him.
So good to get out of there.
But yeah, that pick's always really fun to see. A quick flick shot from the AWP, but it's going to be Freiburg who's just going to get aggressive again. And he hasn't been getting many multiple kills when he's been doing this, but
quiet game from Freiburg.
But still, I mean, they've just been locking it down with their individual skill. They've got the bomb under control now as well, so another 4-on-2 for them.
Look at this lockdown, the smoke there. What can the T's do here? Like, it's completely shut down.
Ouch.
Getting railed through the smoke there. Get looks like we're going to get another one. There it is, 2 kills through the smoke, and I think that just sums up Liquid's approach now. They're going to be thinking, God, what can we even do to get back into this? We've got $3,000 to play with. Get the kills out maybe. No nades. How are you going to win an Inferno round with no grenades? I have no idea, but they're going to give it a go. They've got 1 smoke on the entire team. Be interesting to see how they utilise that and actually get in anywhere. They're going to have to walk around, face everyone.
And they're going to go and challenge Alu's AWP in middle. It's not going to go so well so far for Alu, however, as they are able to dodge the AWP shot and move up middle slowly. But again, aggressive play from NiP on Banana. Why wouldn't they? They're picking up the kills. Yeah. It's free map control if you're confident, and indeed you are getting those frags. As Freiburg just did, a drain goes down, and it's just a slow waiting game now for NiP in the positions that they're in to wait out for the approach of Liquid. And there it is now. Fugly slowly edging his way forward. Can't move out the balcony. Wow. And a great flick shot there from him as well. His defense is immaculate. Liquid just left with Fugly there, and there is the half, 14-1. Oh my, oh dear.
Well, to be fair, like it's T side Inferno against NiP. Lost a pistol is very difficult to get back into. Yep. It doesn't really do them justice. Like I said, they kept getting the initial pick. They had control on the map. They just seemed a bit lost when they were actually going into the bomb sites. Like it seemed like the in-game leader there needs to step up and kind of slow things down. like, they're a team that's known to drop these set pieces. When you get in those positions where you've got map control, you've got the man advantage, that's the time to drop them. They're on the back foot. They've had to peel a man away from the bomb sites. That's the time you want to drop a set piece. Like, if you're not making the frags and just walking around on the bomb sites, not making any impact whatsoever and getting completely rinsed, I suggest they go back to their basics and kind of try and bring some sort of tactical approach to it instead of like just walking around and getting decimated.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty steep road if they ever hope to come back here, but
well, it goes without saying they need this pistol round. Like, I can imagine NiP with the kind of mentality they're in right now, just rushing somewhere and just getting it over with.
It's really nice for NiP actually to start the day off really well like this, because GetRight's been top fragging here. That's really good. You want GetRight to be top fragging, a very emotional player. Forest had a really good game on map number 1 as well. So the players that need to get the kind of the boost and to get warm are getting warm here for NiP. So kicking off the day well is always nice for the Swedes. We're going to have the push up mid from NiP now, and they're getting taken down here. A good couple kills coming in from Flowsick as Ali is now making his way onto the bomb, and the bomb site rather. He's going to get 1 kill, but it's a small consolation at the moment. They still need to get the bomb down. There's heavy pressure going into this plant situation. It is actually on the floor at the moment. It needs to be reclaimed. Forest going to make his way up. Oh, great shot there from Forest, taking down Nitro and switching up for the USP, as he does always. Loves that USP, does Forest. Now he's in some trouble, and you could really use the hand of Forest right now to give him some breathing room. And there it is, from long range and tap, tap, tap. He's going to pick up the frag. 15-1, and
got my head in my hands here. They got the initial 2 frags. Just make them plant. Let's make them go to the bomb side. Like, they didn't need to, that's what I was thinking. Why was Nitro pushing up there? Like, with
Henry G's sad.
Like, it just seems so blasé. Make them plant the bomb and then go together. At least you know they're not going to be holding those choke points like that. But unfortunate for Liquid. I don't think they ever had a chance of getting into this game after that first half. But that would have been nice to see them make it respectable at least. Now we're
it would have been good to see what they have to offer on the CT
absolutely.
side.
I think they would have had something to show for themselves. So they had to start to CT on this map. I think it's a map that suits their playstyle. I think they would have been able to string some rounds together, get the momentum up. And now 5-7 armor. They just have to hold and hope for the best there.
This is a good way to deal with the 5-7 armor, and NiP are a team that have a really good execute with Molotovs on this bomb site. Combined with the SMGs, it's almost unstoppable as your kind of anti-pistol armor strat. However, they are a little bit disjointed at the moment, giving opportunities here to Liquid. Frybo's going to go in now, looking for those entries, jumping around with the MP7. Not going to happen for him, but Exist is there to pick up the pieces, and NiP have claimed themselves that B bomb site and the bomb plant. Nitro 1 versus 3. It's match point here for NiP, and Ali's going to do it with P90. NiP 16-1. What a crazy, crazy scoreline. And, well, the series from start to finish was a dominant showing from the Swedes.
Yeah, 3 rounds in total over 2 maps is never ideal in anyone's book. I think it's like Liquid never seemed to get going. They made some very good plays on T-side there. Initial rounds working well, but just not converting them into actual winning rounds, unfortunately. NiP looking very strong. Not so much individual performances. It just seemed like they were just working well as a unit. Good retakes and making sure they actually play the sides properly. They actually, like we said, they were playing a little bit out there, weren't really playing the positions in a traditional manner, facing angles they perhaps shouldn't be doing, but it worked for them. They seem to be doing very well. And yeah, I think that's going to knock Liquid back a little bit and realise they need to step the game up.
So what's the Henry G advice for Liquid?
For Team Liquid? Well, for one, once they get those first picks, they need to be slowing their game down, assessing. It's like they got the first 2 picks and then they're rushing around to the bomb site, assuming it'll be clear. Like they seem so blasé. They didn't seem to have anyone waiting behind or covering the choke points. Went around together, ran into the complete force field of NiP in the pit and on the bomb site. Just got completely wrecked. And they need to slow it down and just think about their game a little bit. I think once you get in those advantageous positions, you need to capitalise on them and convert them into rounds.
So you felt like there was more hope than Dust 2, for example?
There was more hope, but not much.
There was 1 round.
Yeah.
There was 1 round. And also, something to mention is that the times when they came close to winning rounds, because they actually kept NiP's money down quite often. But the thing is that NiP themselves were taking so many risks.
Yeah. And
that allowed them to have that kind of spot where their rounds were looking closer than they actually were. And then some of the ones where it looked like they were going to win, it still required an almost ace, like twice. So, I mean, where do you go from that? It's really difficult for... I mean, do you think it's down to skill, or is it just across the board skill, tactics,
I think
and
it was
calling
like it wasn't that down to skill. We
loose?
saw some great moments, and we saw Elige getting a little 4-man and potentially converting into a 5-man. I think it's just like first game nerves of the day. The caller needs to get his head screwed on and work out what's going wrong in those situations, why they're not converting those rounds into victories. Like, if you're getting picked, you're playing good Counter-Strike, especially on terrorists. If you're pushing the CTs back to the bomb site, you're playing CS properly. You're playing the map the way it should be played, like, which is good for them. Normally we see them kind of relying on, especially on maps like Cash's, we see them relying on set pieces straight off the bat, and it's good to see them actually enforcing a traditional kind of European playstyle of working map control and then working out what to do. They just need to work on the execution a little bit more.
It does feel like they could go back to the demo and be like, okay guys, we actually got a round winning advantage here.
They had
here,
about,
I'd
say 5 or 6 times, at least.
And that could be a really good learning point, because I imagine, I mean, it's very difficult if you get crushed by a team to just go back to them and be like, okay, where do we go from here? Does we get let into the game?
Their CT pistol, they picked up the first 2 frags in middle, right? At that point, fall back to the bomb sides, play a really defensive game.
That's exactly what NiP did, for example.
And then at that point, they just like started pincering them in all different angles, getting picked off one by one instead of making them plan. But as I say that, I think we're going to throw it back over to the analyst desk. There you go. Take us away, gentlemen.
You would. Thank you very much, guys. Well, 3 total rounds for Team Liquid.
Look, I'll tell you this. So I'm sat in the wonderful stadium, cinema, you know, and there's a guy who's flown all the way from America to watch the American teams. He's got an American flag draped around him. He's as patriotic as they come. Team Liquid, you owe him an apology, mate.
Yeah, so Scoots.
Scoots. And Scoots, you owe him an apology.
Yeah, so we're gonna definitely. I learned my lesson at DreamHack like a year and a half ago, not to like wave the flag too much because it just never works out for us in North America. So we're gonna delve into it a little bit, and we're gonna talk about Cloud9 immunity. But before we get to that, we've got Martin, the only man in the building with less hair than me, and he's with the one, the only Freeberg or Freiberg, depending on how you want to say it. Take it away, Martin.
Very much, Scott. You are 27,000 years older than me, though. But we'll get to that later. Freiberg, well played. You happy with the win straight away?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's always nice to start a tournament with a win. And I mean, I think we played good. Of course, you can't say we played badly when we win this big. So, but I think, I don't know. It just felt like they didn't really play good. I think we just ran over them for it felt like to both maps.
Do you feel like they were maybe a little bit intimidated because they haven't been playing very well lately? You guys, on the other hand, have kind of consistently been performing quite well in the last sort of 6-7 months. Do you think maybe getting in the booths on, alongside you guys, they're looking sort of to their right, they see that there is all the NiP magic in the world. Do you think that maybe they were a little bit intimidated because you totally dominated?
I think they tried. I mean, they didn't play that well on Face It for 2 weeks ago, so I think they tried something new here. And I mean, they played kind of random. I don't think they really. It was weird playing them because they made a lot of weird decisions, and I mean, I think they just try to YOLOs, take us off guard, but I mean, we were alert and caught up. So yeah, maybe they were afraid. Maybe they knew that if they would play their game, they couldn't beat us, so they wanted to try something new. I don't know, but they played a bit strange, I must say. Yeah.
Okay, and how important is it to get off to a really good start in the first game of the day?
I mean, it's always a good feeling. Like going into a new tournament, you win the first game. I mean, then it's just start rolling. And I mean, it's 5 teams in the groups here, so every win is important, especially win with 2-0, you get an extra point. So we're really happy, and I mean, we're going to prepare for the next game now.
So you're right. There's 10 teams here. I think there's sort of the top 6 out of the top 10 teams in the world here. Taking part of the Gfinity Arena in the second of our CS tournaments. What kind of chance do you give yourselves? You got to the final last time. What chance do you give yourselves of taking home the money and the crown?
I mean, I think we have a big chance. I mean, we are one of the top contenders here for the throne. So, I mean, just play our game. Just keep developing, because I think we are playing better and better. I mean, we have Alo, the kind of new addition to our team. We're still working a lot with him. So, I mean, the more experience, the more tournaments we get with him, I think we just feel more comfortable, and I think we are comfortable enough to win this tournament now. Okay, good stuff. And is there like 1 or 2 teams in particular you think that are going to be your serious rivals in stopping you taking home the crown? I mean, we have, of course, Navi, he's here, Fnatic is here, NVS is here, and Virtus Pro is here. I think they are the top contenders. Then we have Cloud9. They are, of course, a wild card. We don't really know how they're going to do with their new lineup. I mean, yeah, it's going to be tough games. I mean, everyone in CS right now is pretty good, especially in Europe, and the American scene has been slacking a bit lately, but we'll see. Cloud9 got a new roster here now, so yeah.
Okay. Thanks very much. Right, so NiP are off to a great start. Played 1-1-1, 3 points on the board. Guys over at the desk, it's back over to you.
Thank you, Martin. So again, kind of standard stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, what does he say after a 16-2,
Well,
16-1,
I mean,
right?
Scott, I would be remiss if I was to miss the opportunity to mention how Team Liquid got reamed. So, no, that was terrible stuff. Just the sheer amount of rounds they got over the 2 maps. This is the same thing that happened to them at Face It, where in the group stage they played a best of 3 against Fnatic, but it was 2-0, and Fnatic again dumpstered them completely, and they got barely any rounds. So it's one thing if you're at least having a game, like Elevate played a game against Virtus.pro, where they got a bunch of rounds, they had chances to win maps. Team Liquid isn't even getting into these games. And like actually the casters were saying there, like DDK was asking Henry, like, oh, is it just lack of skill or something? No, actually what's interesting is on this Dust 2 game, which was utterly dominant for NiP, there were times in the game where some of the Liquid players were fragging just as many frags as the NiP players, but none of them had any impact. Same on Inferno as well. Even the kills they got were throwaway kills that didn't mean anything. And so it didn't matter what the number said. The round told you there was no impact from some of these players.
So here's a couple replays coming your way from that match.
And absolutely everyone on NiP just got in on this, man. Get Right had the Get Right timing on Inferno, where he sprayed all the guys from behind the box. Forrest had the 25 kills on Dust 2. Exist had the ridiculous round where he's versus 2 rifles, but he just used the Tech 9 at the doors of B and won that one. Everyone got it going.
Yep. So, again, more replays coming our way, so we'll just keep those kind of rolling as we talk over. I mean, obviously, Liquid has to just kind of reset. You know, their next match is going to be, let me look at my schedule, they've got Na'Vi next on the Challenger side. So,
well, I think that's going to be just as rough for them. I mean, the thing is, that what's going kind of unsaid here is, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people who watch this game and they're like, oh, well, this is business as usual for Ninjas in Pyjamas. This has been a fragile Ninjas in Pyjamas team. This has been a Ninjas in Pyjamas team that have given up rounds against weaker opposition, you know, have struggled to really find their own rhythm, that are immensely frustrated, and yet they've played that game in just a zen-like calm. You know, you can see. And even in the situations like what we've just seen there, where it's like, you know, we're moving into clutch rounds, everything was going the way of NiP. It was like they just couldn't lose. To get 3 rounds against even this team NiP across 2 maps, it's absurdly bad. It's absurdly bad. And the thing is, I was actually thinking coming into this, looking in this group, what are the chances of Na'Vi maybe finishing above NiP? Actually, you know, what if that was? I mean, I think that's a decent outside bet to make. It's not the wildest thing that could happen. So for Team Liquid to be up against them next, you know, it's got a potential to go from bad to worse because there's no positives to take from that game whatsoever. I mean, you can watch these replays, and you can just see it's like, well, they get themselves into these positions and they're just comprehensively outplayed, outclassed across the board.
You know, I actually agree. I don't think going against Na'Vi is going to be any better. I actually think the way the group played out was quite bad for Liquid. If I was Liquid, I'd rather be in Cloud9's spot. I think it's possible to get a map off Virtus.pro. You could maybe upset Titan if you get it rolling. They don't have all the most skilled players in the world. They're more going off the tactics, etc. That would be a much better group. Envious of the elite teams is the one that's had a bit of weakness recently. I feel like that's the group you want to be in. I think Cloud9's kind of in the right position to have the chance for the upset. Beating Fnatic and NiP, I don't think has any chance for these guys. So now they're down to they have to beat Na'Vi and hope for the group to play out in a certain way. Now, beating Na'Vi is not going to be easy.
This was wet. Oh my God.
This wasn't even a Get Right play, though. Get Right doesn't do anything special here.
No.
It's just them.
Yeah,
not
but
checking.
absolute. I mean, have you ever heard of this spot called Sandbags, guys?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's the go-to. And the thing is, they just before that, what wasn't shown in the replay, they just got gamed by, I think it was Freiburg, who'd pushed all the way down. And so he's there. They check that spot, miss a point-blank AWP shot to kill him. So he does a load of damage. And then as they come up, they're like, well, there's a nice early call been made. You know, so surely at this juncture, okay, you can see here, I think this is where the AWP shot is missed. So surely at this juncture, right, they've got to think, okay, that's a nice early call that's been made. So let's just check all the spots, but let's try and get up there as quick as possible. And instead, they just, it's ridiculous. Flashed or not flashed, someone's got to be looking at that spot. And you can say Get Right's an amazing lurker or whatever, but that's easy. That's matchmaking stuff.
And one of the big problems, if you go forwards to looking ahead to this Na'Vi game when Liquid has to play them, is that the maps also, it's not just the team, the maps are going to be terrible for them against Na'Vi. Because we know that Liquid wants to play stuff like Inferno, Mirage, Dust 2, right? Well, Mirage and Dust 2 are the best Na'Vi maps. They're amazing at that. They can beat the best teams in the world on that. Inferno's also a decent map for them. And recently, Na'Vi's been kind of showcasing quite a good overpass, which is a map that normally the NA teams don't even play. So I don't know where Liquid can even go in the map pool. It's not just that the team's better than them and they're dangerous, but the maps actually don't favor them. Whereas if they'd have played against someone like a Virtus.pro, okay, they can get to a couple of maps maybe that at least be half decent, you know.
And then the other side of the coin, you know, NiP's next match is against Fnatic. So quite the opposite for them. They go from an easy match to an incredibly difficult match for them.
And they've had a nice little warm-up there, Ninjas in Pyjamas, which will give them perhaps an extra percentage when they go up against Fnatic, who haven't had, you know, that opportunity yet. So, I mean, this is another reason why in this group, especially with this format, it is important to really give every map your all, because it's, sure, you might not be in a position where you might progress, but you can still have a large say over who does.
Yeah.
And that should mean something to you as a competitor. Here, I mean, just bitterly disappointed really with what Team Liquid put up. And it's like, I don't want to rip into them too much. It probably sounds contradictory because I have. But ultimately, this was a side I was looking forward to seeing perform. I thought, you know, perhaps they can restore a little bit of pride and build on what we saw at Face It. There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And for NiP, that's not just a series where it's like, okay, we can afford to lose this one. As long as we beat Na'Vi, as long as we beat the rest, we'll get out of the group. They've been having a hard time against Fnatic their last few goes. Yep. When they played them in the group at Face It, they were fairly comprehensively beaten. When they played them at PGL in Bucharest, they were utterly destroyed in that series. So they've gone a while now without a win. Like, you remember, okay, last at the major, they played in the final. It was an epic series. They beat them on cash. They took them close on Inferno. Okay, great series. They were really close. That was a long time ago. That was many tournaments ago. And so NiP needs to get back on the board. They need to actually strike back. Otherwise, that's a one-sided rivalry again. Yeah,
and you know, like, just to talk a little bit about NiP, because I mean, you know, we've really gone in on Team Liquid there. It has got to be said that, you know, perhaps this does. I don't think it does. But you could make an argument, if you were so inclined to do so, that this maybe points to NiP have fixed some of the problems they've been having, because they have been vulnerable, especially in the early stages in tournaments. They've been making slow starts to games. They're really losing rounds to opposition they wouldn't ordinarily. And that was smooth. I mean, perhaps there is an argument that this is just NiP. They've exercised the demons, perhaps, but I don't think so. I think it was, you know, just Team Liquid just gave nothing.
Well, and again, I think the longer, you know, Natu's in there with them, it's because obviously he's new. The more he's with them, I think you're just going to see a more, regardless of what he does in game, right, for them, out of game, just helping them solidify strats and all that. I think we're going to see, you know, a solid NiP again. Right?
At the end of the day, the acid test is, how do they turn up against Fnatic within the context of this group? That's going to show us what NiP are really about. You know, if they can take some serious rounds against them, and I still don't think this NiP in its current incarnation is capable of beating the Fnatic that I've watched at tournaments recently. But you know, I think if they can at least be competitive, that's a step in the right direction for where NiP has been lately.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit. There is the second match going on right now in the Challenger arena, and that's Cloud9 and Immunity. So let's talk a little bit about that. First match, kind of the opposite. North America, 16-2 over Immunity. And again, obviously, like, let's not
train as well.
On train. Let's not sugarcoat. Obviously, Immunity's not NiP. But that's that's exactly what Cloud9 needs to do to start their tournament. And their new player, Freakazoid, top fragger.
Well, two new players.
Dominating.
Got Skadoodle as well. Well, the thing is,
thoughts on those guys?
Well, first of all, to kind of alleviate a bit of the horrible scoreline for Immunity, it has to be said, when I talked to those guys, I was asking them like what their scene's like, and they were saying one of the problems we have is we don't tend to play the newer maps in our scene. Like, we don't play Overpass and Cobblestone maps. These aren't maps in practice. So since Train's brand new, and it hasn't even really been in tournaments, it wasn't in Face It when they were there, I would imagine they're not very well versed on this. Now, I don't mind them taking a flyer against it because I know that Cloud9 isn't some expert team on Train. So, hey, maybe they were gambling. They don't know it more. We have one smoke that they haven't seen before. It was worth a gamble, but obviously it hasn't worked out whatsoever. So I think it's fairly obvious when I see these two teams play that if the Cloud9 players play to the level they should win this 2-0.
And then just to give you an update, second map is going right now. It is 10-6 right now, Cloud9 on cash.
Well, I mean, again, this doesn't surprise me. I mean, the first thing I would say is, while I was perhaps a little bit critical of Freakazoid coming into Cloud9 because I think he's been a little bit of an unknown quantity in CSGO, the Freakazoid I know from CSS, this was a guy who was actually always stronger at LAN. And in fact, people would be calling him bullshit online, and they were like, you know, this, but he is just a fearless entry fragger. He'll go for that same pick, you know, over and over and over and over again. And this is the reason why he has better LAN performances, because everyone plays a little bit more reserved at LAN. You know, the pressure's on, you've got a stage there, the spotlight's on you. That's never bothered him as a player. So it doesn't really surprise me to see him top fragging against these smaller teams in the group.
Yeah, Rich. They'd call him Bolshi because he was kind of like a bit abrasive, a bit over the top. Like, that's what he said, right? Yeah. Your pronunciation was off a bit.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Okay. But ultimately, I think can he do that? Can he replicate that level of performance against the bigger and better teams in that group? That for me is a big question mark in this new look Cloud9, and one I'm looking forward to seeing being answered. But certainly this is his bread and butter. I mean, if anyone's surprised by that, then they probably not really followed his career a lot.
Yeah, because we talked to Stunna over breakfast, and he said that they were doing a lot of promotional stuff. They have been here early, but didn't get the kind of boot camp in that they wanted. But we've seen when Cloud9 has plenty of time to boot camp, they sometimes do worse. It was like the iPad Power days, right? They would just show up, jet lagged, and do better. And Cloud9 would be here for a week and not do well. So, whatever they, again, immunity, both communities kind of have the same problem, right? North America is isolated, Australia is isolated.
Yeah,
so
just to clarify that as well. This is an immunity that they've been over. Probably there's an argument to say they're better prepared than Cloud9. Obviously, they were at the BYOC at DreamHack. I think they had a Face It before that, wasn't it? Right? So it's not like they've just turned up from Australia like, g'day, mate.
Not
you know what I mean?
Or anything,
sipping Fosters and getting battered by Americans. These guys have been over in Europe for a while. They're tournament ready. They're tournament prepared.
Yep.
So, I mean, this is Cloud9 are coming into this game a little bit raw, a little bit rough around the edges. And they're actually putting on a very polished performance against a team that has been at 3 tournaments on the bounce now.
12-6 now. Just a FYI update on that. I'm going to shift gears. You guys do a lot of traveling. Last couple events you've both been at. In reading like Reddit and Half-Life TV and all the websites, not hearing so much about like the gun stuff, right? We've always talked about, okay, they just nerfed this, they need to nerf this, like whether it's Tech 9 or CZ or the new op change. In your guys' conversations lately with the pros, because again, we haven't talked since the big op change, right? What are you hearing from the pros about the gun balance now?
After DreamHack, Jump Scout.
Yeah, the Jump Scout still.
That was one that was notable, mainly because, I mean, MBK himself, he was the one using it and abusing it, but he'd probably tell you himself, like, it's kind of stupid the way you can use it, because all he did there was actually go to all the classic spots and just repeatedly spam it. And as I kind of mentioned on the air again, I want to make this point again. One of the interesting things about the way people set up that argument of if it's imbalanced is they always just attack the most obvious part, which is why can you do accuracy while you're jumping? Now, I agree. I think you shouldn't be very accurate while jumping or moving. These should be general principles of Counter-Strike as to how the game should be balanced. But a bigger problem is there's no counterplay, because when someone jumps up, your natural inclination should be aim where they are and shoot them. If you do that, the hitboxes are actually out of sync with where the model shows. So you have to either learn a bizarre position, like it's maybe higher or lower, or you just have to not shoot where your eyes are telling you to, and that should never be the case.
That's pretty counterintuitive,
another concept should be like where you aim is where the bullets are going, so that's where you want to be shooting. So it's the two combined that make it so OP. If it was one or the other, I could see more aspects to it. Now, luckily, a lot of players haven't really been abusing it completely at the moment. It's not like the most OP thing, but it's still a problem in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
because that cost teams rounds in that particular game.
Yeah, that's got to be said as well. If it was so OP, you'd see everybody doing it, and everybody would be able to perfect it, and everyone would be able to win rounds off the back of it. But actually, it's the fanatics, it's the enviouses, the guys that sit down, study the game. Okay, what's broken in the current meta? What can we use to really just brute force rounds and abuse people? And they study it and do it. While there's an attitude among some of the other teams that are perhaps a bit more elitist or a little bit more naive, it'll get patched. There's no point in abusing it. Well, Envious and Fnatic are saying, well, all right, these are our tournament winnings, guys. They say it was worth it. So, they're the smart teams about it. And this is what I mean. I actually like the fact that we're getting to a stage that's almost comparable to MOBAs now, where the patch does have a big say in kind of the strats of the day. There is a meta game, which was a phrase that was never really used about Counter-Strike, back in the day. No one ever really said, oh, what's the current meta like? You're like, nah.
Because it was the same for years, right?
Because for 1.6, you were just using the same guns over and over and over again. There was just an optimal buy that you could do with the money, and that's what you did. Now there's more and more options in, which, like I said, I like, but yeah, the Jump Scout is...
I also think a reason as to why people aren't complaining as much anymore, it's still present. People still say the CZ, well, not the CZ, the Tech 9 is the main one they still complain about. That still looks just as OP, but I think also a reason as to why it's not complained about as much is because Envious haven't been dominating recently. When Envious are at their best, they're the ones who abuse the weapons the best of anyone, because they really can make magical, you call it a half buy, but they can have one gun and then some Tech 9s and armor, and they can make that into a round win over full guns. So it's them that make it look absolutely imbalanced.
Gotcha.
At least when Fnatic even do a full Tech 9 buy, they have a tactic to the round, and you see the way they run around. That was intelligent the way they attacked this one guy here, and they knew they could get him out of position. The Envious guys win it. I mean, famously, when the CZ was OP, they were the guys where it would be Kiyashima on his own, not with his mates, just jump around the corner and headshot someone long range. And that's when you were like, this is totally OP. That can't be allowed in the game. And so I feel like it also goes with Envious. It's a way that people criticize Envious, you know.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, you know, they just don't eco.
Yeah.
Worst comes to the worst, you will just, okay, you can get this, we can get that. So, I mean, yeah, it does make it look like, again,
no one's quite as bad as them because no one can make it work the way that they can. That's the thing. If anyone else tried it, it'd kill them.
It makes it look like there's a problem, when in actual fact it isn't. This is what Envious do. So, yeah, you can't use them as a case study, basically. But, yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to the gun stuff, I think we're in a better place balance-wise. I think we can all still agree that Tech 9 needs a little bit of work. People have adapted quite well to the AWP changes, actually, which I thought were going to get reversed almost immediately.
Yeah.
I know you were quite critical
the
of the
outcry
AWP changes.
was amazing.
But people have just adapted. I don't know how I feel about it in terms of the skill ceiling and what it's done to it. I think it's maybe brought it down a little bit, but I guess that gives the opportunity for everyone to kind of get up to, you know, on that plateau with some of the real... Because for CSGO, I still think there's, like, not an abundance of great AWPers. I think it's very limited globally. So... yeah, I thought they would change that. Doesn't look like they're going to. I think people have adapted. There's no more whine about that. So it really is just the Tech 9 and the Jump Scout at the moment, I think.
So Cloud9 pulled off the victory.
Yep.
So that gives them 3 points. Their next match will be Virtus Pro. And Immunity's next match is Titan. Not easy for either of those teams. But again, Cloud9 doing exactly what they needed, getting 3 points.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, you've got to give them massive credit. You know, it's one of those games where we've seen... perhaps American teams have been on a par with Australians. And like I say, the Australians are tournament ready, the Americans aren't. But yeah, very professional job by Cloud9. And I'm looking forward to see how they do this tournament. I know loads of our casters have picked them as a dark horse. But I think that's probably over-egging the pudding. But let's see.
I think it's just wishful thinking. I don't think they actually really know, like, oh, I know for sure they're going to. I think they just hope. Like, they look at it and they go, well, if Skadoodles were his absolute best, like, if you imagine when he used to be on iBuyPower, which was a while ago, and if somehow Freakazoid perfectly plays his role and then nothing has the tournament of his life, then it's like they need everything to happen for that to occur. That's not just like one great map here. It's gonna take a lot for them.
Well, historically as well, of course, Gfinity's been very kind to nothing. He's had some of his best performances these tournaments. I think it was here when we watched him drop, like, what was it, 50 frags in a game? But didn't they still lose that map?
Yeah, they lost that.
Well,
16-14, I think.
And another interesting point is, you know, Cloud9 and Virtus Pro, old Cloud9 especially, always played Virtus Pro really. Those are good matches.
Yeah.
So again, if they can, with the new roster, beat Virtus Pro and get 6 points on the board, you know, we could get out of groups, folks. It could happen.
No, that used to be one of the better matchups, actually.
Yeah,
they always used to play each other close.
I was going to say,
The battle of the two teams who were better on T-side used to mainly be a T-side battle, so be interesting in the new meta. And now you add in a dangerous player. Because the thing with Skadoodle is, the reason I don't hype him too much is because, like I say, he hasn't actually been on a proper team for something like 5 or 6 months now. Yeah, he played as a stand-in for Elevate at the CEVO LAN, and now he's playing now with Cloud9. But when you haven't had that full match fitness, or especially knowing your role within the team and everything that's going to happen, you won't be quite at your peak level. So at his peak level, I actually do think he's better than some of the Virtus Pro players. There's a couple there that like, I think Snacks is better than him, but I think he can go head-to-head with Pasha, Orping. Yeah. He could be better than Bialy game-to-game when Bialy has the off game. He can definitely be one of the best players in the server. So that gives you something that Cloud9 didn't used to have before, because they only had Shroud, and he was still coming into his own. So they have a couple of stars they can build around now. The bigger issue is, I don't know whether Skadoodle's going to be in that form yet. Yeah. How do they, it's not just having a player, it's how do you use the player? How do you make the player team work around? Now, I was talking before about Liquid. Some of them are getting kills, but the team can't convert that into anything. Yeah. They're not able to make an advantage out of that. It's just a kill on the board. So.
Well, I mean, look, Cloud9 have got massive faith in Skadoodle and his ability. I think one thing we'll, all be able to agree on.
I heard they had thousands of reasons to believe in
perhaps 24,000 to be precise. Okay. But this is a guy who I think we can all agree on this, and no disrespect to him if he does watch this. He was an upgrade from the level that Shazam was playing at.
Well, he's actually a player in the server, and he gets kills and doesn't give up a free kill. Playing 5v5 is better than playing 4v5.
No, but here's the thing.
You're absolutely right with that.
People are really critical of Shazam. One of the things that I did like, actually, was Shazam watched Skadoodle's first game, and he remarked, it was Twitch chatted and put up there, he went, wow, he should have kicked me sooner. Yeah. Which, shows a great humility there. And I think Cloud9's been really important in his evolution as a professional player. player, and I'm sure he's took a lot from his time there. But Cloud9 have clearly got an upgrade. I think you can back Skadoodle to get to that level, to get to that form eventually. And I think tournaments like this are going to be where he's going to be showing people
the positive thing that Shazam was able to bring to Liquid was, first of all, making them accept that, like, okay, it is the era, the meta, where people want one solid, dedicated AWPer. Before they'd mess around. Sometimes Semphis would even AWP, Sean Gares would AWP, but he'd try and AWP, and he'd try and pick Skadoodle and get his head smashed in matches. So the one good thing Shazam did is, first of all, kind of wean Sean Gares off AWPing, and then show Sean Gares, like, this is what happens when a player who's not quite good enough is constantly giving the AWPer, and he's like, oh, yeah, I should never do that again. Now let's get someone in who can actually do that then.
Yeah,
you know?
but I think he's an upgrade. I mean, and not just an upgrade in the sense that what Duncan's alluding to, which is anyone would be better. I think he's got the potential to be the elite North American AWPer, and he's proven that before in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I hope he can get there again, because
it's great seeing him playing again. I mean, obviously he sat waiting for a very long time to find a team. You know, him and the Hiko duo had to break up, you know, in that sense that they couldn't find a team together.
Well, it didn't have to.
Yeah, certainly.
It didn't have to, but it was certainly manufactured that way. Like, it would have been a travesty if a player as good as him couldn't have got on a good team coming to international tournaments, because he is mustard, to use a very British phrase. He's got the potential, like I said, to be the elite level AWPer in North America. And for Cloud9's sake, I hope they do it.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. So the next two matches we have on the Challenger stage, you're going to have Fnatic taking on Vox Eminor. And then on our stage, we're going to have Titan and Immunity. So Australians on both streams. We're going to be right back after a short commercial break.